of the internet, I direct your attention to Exhibit A on in this trial of who is a real gamer, because it's the Rage Select podcast, Your Honor. I object. This whole podcast is out of order. I'm sorry for that bit. That was not the best bit that I've ever done in the world.
It's
but
fine. We need to work on your Jack Nicholson impressions.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I'm the prosecuting defense attorney. That's my job. I just do.
Then you need one of those ascots that Edgeworth has.
Oh yeah, and like a powdered wig. Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody get me a powdered wig. Welcome back to the Rage Select podcast. I'm Judge Jeff.
And I'm Attorney Mike.
Are you more of a defense attorney or a prosecutor? What do you think?
I'm more of a defense attorney myself.
Yeah, you trying to you trying to put scum back on these streets.
I just want to represent killer whales for murder. Is that so much to ask?
I don't think the real world is all that much like. I think it's a lot more like Judgment and a lot less like Phoenix Wright in the real world.
Well, there's somebody cross-examined a parrot at some point, apparently, so I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah, there was that Zoom call where that guy couldn't turn off the cat filter.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good.
Somebody made a great meme with Phoenix Wright for that.
Oh,
like they use I think it's like a picture of a cat in the game, and it just says Phoenix Wright in the corner.
Nice,
because if it's a Zoom call.
Nice. Yeah. So we've got a really weird, really strange show this week. It's gonna be It's gonna be bizarre. It's just like it's like a surprise mechanic. It's like a mystery box. It's like a full of just different weird shit that happened last week on the internet. There's no theme this week. It's not just like, let's talk about Apple versus Epic for 40 minutes like it was last week. It's all over the place. But before we get into that, Michael, it's time to talk about what have you been up to for the last week? And I'm going to be just as all over the place as this podcast because I started watching Elementary last week.
Really?
Yeah. 2012. 2012 is actually a good year to set something that's like as far back as you want to go because everybody still has like smartphones and they know what like email and Googling stuff is, so you don't have to deal with like fucking pagers and nobody like knows how to send a text message or anything.
Yeah, that show started around the same time as Sherlock did.
Yeah,
so it was one of those shows that everyone was like comparing, but I was like, this one's got Lucy Liu as Watson, so that's the thing.
I kind of feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's like Sherlock ended up being Studio 60 from the Sunset Strip, and Elementary ended up being 30 Rock, where it was just like one of these was so up its own ass that it went off the rails and completely exploded, and the other one went on for like 8 seasons and it's fine, and you just put it on in the background and watch it for like 6 weeks straight.
It was actually not bad. Like if once you got past the whole like this is a modern day thing, but it's set in America kind of thing, you're just like, fuck it, sure, let's go with this.
I was rewatching because when I was playing Nier, I was watching all these like super long YouTube videos while I fished and farmed and did all the dumb shit you got to do for ending Q in Nier, and I was rewatching H. Bomber Guy's like Sherlock is garbage and here's why video, and in part there he's like, yeah, the Elementary came out around the same time and it's actually really good. It's just like, here's a mystery, then we solved it. Isn't it fun to watch a mystery show? Not just like everything is based on this grand fourth dimensional chess conspiracy that never actually plays out, and there was actually a secret other person the entire time.
I remember I had a friend who was like, I stopped watching Sherlock when a phone's like lock thing was Sherlocked.
Oh yes,
and he was so fucking upset that he's like, I never watched the show again.
Yeah, that was not great.
He was so upset. I remember how upset he was. It's like, oh well, it's a good thing I didn't watch the show to begin with.
Yeah, so that's mostly what I've been doing. I can say it's well worth watching. It's 40 minutes a piece. I'm in the middle of season 1. I started watching like on Monday a little bit, couple a day. I also started watching SSSS Dynazion or whatever. So I don't know if you know SSSS Gridman, right?
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
So SSSS Gridman was like tokusatsu, right? So it was all like based on Ultraman, but then like SSSS Dynazion is like old school. It's like a throwback to like when a bunch of vehicles turned into a giant robot and then fought like a monster like Voltron or
is that what that image was that I think Matt shared?
Probably. I gave him my Funimation login because in the very first episode, the end of the episode comes and a giant robot turns into a different giant robot that is also a giant dinosaur, and I was like, Matt, are you watching this? There's like 4 episodes and I've never heard you talk about this.
That explains a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but it's that was pretty good too. But Sherlock, not Sherlock. Don't watch Sherlock. Don't do it. Don't. You know what the best part of Sherlock is, Michael? Is I don't know if you've watched the myriad of internet videos going over the insane secret 5th episode conspiracy of the 4th season of Sherlock. Do you not know this? Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I've never heard of this thing.
So the last season of Sherlock was total dick. It was like 100% garbage fire. And like it was all about Sherlock's secret little sister that's also a sociopath and super smart, and how she's really been running like all these other things this whole time, even though she's in jail. And it was so bad that when it finished, the Sherlock fandom decided that there had to be a secret 5th episode because it couldn't possibly have been that bad and it couldn't have ended there. And so there was this huge conspiracy, all these like people on Reddit and on the Tumblr forums, because Sherlock has like this huge following of like Tumblr kids that are like, they're gay, they're gonna kiss at the end, like Supernatural and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so like it totally turned out that just for days it was kind of like the end of Game of Thrones, except there was a bunch of people who were just carrying the torch for Sherlock. They were just like, well, that can't be what actually happened in the last episode of Sherlock, right? It has to be this secret. Next week there's this other show that's in the same slot and it has to be the secret 5th episode of Sherlock. And it was like, no, it was just bad. It was just bad.
I feel so bad for them because I get how they feel. Like, yeah, you finish a show and you're like, that's how this ends? Are you serious right now?
Yep.
Like the ending to How I Met Your Mother is one that I'll always bring up because like we were so excited. I was at my cousin's house. We basically did a viewing party. And once it was over, like, what the fuck was that? Like, I was so confused. I was like, did I like that? I don't think I did.
No.
I don't think anyone did. And then it turns out the whole rest of the world shared my thoughts. It's like, this is stupid.
Yep.
This is a terrible ending. And like, it's just, you just are like, well, there has to be something else after this, right? Like, there's like, maybe there's another episode, or that maybe I miscalculated. Maybe this isn't the end. And then somebody's like, look, dude, Dexter becomes a lumberjack. I don't know what to tell you.
I never watched the last season of Dexter. Now you've ruined it for me, and I don't have to watch the last season of Dexter. So, boo! Thank you.
They're making a new special.
Oh,
so
right.
Technically, it won't be the ending anymore.
You know, man, I'm so fucking like everybody who watched us play that Hood Outlaws and whatever. I got on my fucking anti-nostalgia high horse last week, and then, I'm the world's biggest lying hypocrite piece of shit because I'm like, fuck nostalgia. I hate nostalgia. Quit remaking old things and make new things. And then today I was looking through the news and they're like, they're making an Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Metalocalypse movie, and I'm like, ooh, I will watch that. I would totally watch that.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah, the second they announced those two in the Venture Brothers movie, I was just like, I'm on board with whatever happens with this. I like the first Aqua Teen movie fine, even though it's batshit insane. Mm-hmm. But I'm expecting this one to be just as batshit insane. So no.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is that like there's just if Aqua Teen Hunger Force got like really bad, I think I would be like, God, it's about fucking time. I've been expecting this show to go off the rails and become shit for like 2 decades now, and it's about time it finally managed to do it.
It never did. Like even its last episode is like, this is fucking weird.
Yeah, even like when it turned into like Aqua Unit Patrol or whatever, and
it changed. It constantly changed into different things, and
so
every
strange.
time I laughed at it because it was just so much fun.
It was like the live action episode or whatever that was really weird.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the actual series finale at some point, but they just kept getting renewed for a bit longer.
I hope that Metalocalypse gets to. I hope they make that like that thing that the dude did as like the ending of it that was like the rock opera show. I hope they just make that into the movie, because I would go back and just rewatch all of Metalocalypse from the beginning. I mean, I know it's not actually still quarantined, but it still feels a lot like quarantine. So
no, absolutely. Like my roommate, he rewatched all of it, and I forgot that it ends on a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
in that rock opera that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I also forgot that Mark Maron plays with the original cast, the original like member of the band who they replaced.
I don't even know if I got that far when I was watching it. I think it was still being made when I went back and watched it.
Yeah, because they at one point like they replaced one of the like the person that is it Toki, the newer one?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's Toki. Yeah, Toki replaced that guy because they fired him because he was like a shitty person kind of thing. And so he replaces him, and I forgot that he was played by Mark Maron.
Okay,
and I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Well, Michael, I'm afraid I've whinged on for a long time, but before we jump into the news, what did you do last week? Anything interesting for the folks?
So I did two specific things. I beat that Samurai Jack game.
Oh my god,
it was fairly short.
Oh, okay,
it's not that long. Like every level takes like half an hour kind of thing. It's not a very long game. And then once I was done with it, I looked up its secret ending because there's a secret ending to it. Now what it is, it's a happy ending to the Samurai Jack show kind of thing. Because the original ending, it's like a bittersweet ending kind of thing where Jack like loses somebody like at the end. But in this, they're like, oh, that person's totally alive and everything's super cool in the end kind of thing. And the game is supposed to be part of the canon of the show. So it's like debated whether or not the secret ending is the actual ending now because of it. But it made me want to go back and rewatch the whole thing. So eventually I'm going to do that because it's like 5 seasons. And it's not that long. But the other thing is I finally started sinking my teeth in the Monster Hunter.
Oh, there you go. Under Rise.
Days ago, because I'm finally like I'm only in like the 4th section of the story hunts, because it's a lot easier than I expected. I was expecting to like faint all the time, but I've only fainted once, and it was during an expedition because I decided to fuck around with a monster, and I hadn't eaten or anything, so I had like none of the super like on top of thing stuff. So I was like, oh, I fainted. That's neat. And then I came back and I murdered it like within.
No, I mean, like
I also listened to Junk Food Cinema while I was doing it because they can have a podcast to play.
Yeah,
and it was funny because I had to remember that Brian was not sitting next to me telling me these things, and so I resisted the urge to be like, yeah, no, you know that thing about this thing. I'm like, wait, he's not here. I can't like tell him about because one of the episodes was on RoboCop 2, and I kept thinking I want to bring up the comic book adaptation that somebody made for Frank Miller's original script, but he's not here. He can't fucking. He's not going to hear me say that out loud. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, it's weird to listen to podcasts of people that you know, and you're just like, oh, I want to say something to you so bad, but I can't. And this was like in the past anyway, so even if I said it, it wouldn't matter.
You don't know how many times I watched. I go to edit Rage Select, and I'm just like, Jeff, what the fuck are you doing? Shut your mouth! Why are you saying that? Shut up! Are you playing a game about pornographic soda cans? What is wrong with you? That's Amanda's fault, though. I don't take responsibility.
No, yeah, she tweeted out about that. That was her fault, but it was magical.
but I mean, I think you could see like how it was easy for me to get sucked into Rise because it's not that difficult in the beginning. It goes down real smooth. The way that it's segmented up, it's like you just do. I'm just gonna do one more. I'm just gonna do one more. I'm gonna do one more, and then like it's fucking 3:00 in the morning, and you're just like, what have I done with my entire day?
Yeah, I think Monster Hunter Rise is probably like the best beginner friendly of them all. Because like I said, all the other ones, like I've had issues where I had to hunt a bunch of times to make what I wanted. This one, like I had to hunt like maybe twice to make like half of the armors I wanted. Like it was crazy. Like I was like, this is really easy. Like it's scary how easy it is to do this right now.
Yep. Well, I tell you what. Let us jump in to the aforementioned crazy ass grab bag week of news with yet another thing that came from the Apple versus Epic. Michael, you weren't here last week. I absolutely, positively, 100% love the fact that this shit is going on because it means that like a court has to be like, no, you have to say out loud how much money you paid for Borderlands in a court record, and then we get to put it on fucking Kotaku, and then I get to read it like I research some shit. It's like, oh, suddenly we know some things about the video game industry.
Yeah, I listened to last week's because I was legitimately really curious about it, and there was a lot of shit that was on there that I was shocked by.
Fuck yeah. Well, speaking of shocking, let's start out with some pornography.
I was buying pornography, Marge.
So this week, there was actually a really interesting. I think that this isn't like juicy hot gossip or anything. This is mostly just kind of goes to show. I feel like one of the best things about this trial is just that you can get a better sense of like how certain companies operate, and I really like this story because I think it really goes to show Apple and how just like a fucking conservative Christian soccer mom Apple is about their devices and what's on them and whatnot. Because I don't know if you read this article, but the Apple lawyers, they tried so fucking hard to jack Epic into like to get Epic by being like, haha, there's pornography on your game platform. Now, here's the background, y'all. Epic Game Store actually does not sell porno video games. Like,
no,
they don't. But one of the things they do on the PC is they have the ability to get an itch.io app that then like forwards you from the Epic Game Store into the itch.io. And I believe that when you install itch.io games through that app, they show up in like your library so you can launch them. But it's not like they didn't just like put all of itch.io on the Epic Game Store. What they did was they added this itch.io app that like lets you go. So let me see if I can find some of this stuff. Apple's lawyer, on the record, you've discussed that there are certain kinds of content the Epic Games store will not bring to the store. You said that Epic Games will not be supported of games that are offensive or sexualized. And then a little further down, you say no porn or hate. Do you see that? And then she starts talking about like, well, you may not be aware that the description of the game includes a list of fetishes, which include many words that are not appropriate for us to speak in federal courts. Come on, say dirty words in federal court, man. There are many games on itch.io. I won't even read the names out loud, but they are both offensive and sexualized. Are you aware of that? And basically, you guys can go read this on just about any website, but it's basically, you know that part in Romeo and Juliet? Maybe this isn't the best thing for internet people, but like where it's like, do you bite your thumb at me, sir? I bite my thumb, sir, but do you bite it at me? Because it's like, well, there's porno on itch.io, and itch.io is on Epic, so there's porno on Epic, and they're like, no, there's not porno on the Epic Game Store. There's the itch.io app, and then you go to their website, and they're like, but their website has pornography. They're like, yes, but that pornography is not on the Epic Game Store. And it's like, so there is pornography on the Epic Game Store. And they're like, no, there's an app that goes to a website that has pornography on it. And like they keep going round and round where this Apple lawyer is really just trying to fucking like, ha-ha, hoo. In fact, at the end, there's this part where they come back around. I love this quote where the Apple lawyer says, I just want to know, sir, if you support offensive and sexual content. And then the person on the stand for Epic is like, I don't support sexualized content of any sort. Okay. Just liars.
They're just trying to get him to say yes the one time.
Yes.
So they can like have that on record. Mm-hmm. They're like, aha, they said that they're totally into like DPing. It's like, no.
Yep.
Not what anybody said.
Yep. They're really trying to hammer them into basically admitting that there is porno on the Epic Game Store because because the funny thing is that there's actually part of this testimony where they talk about how the itch.io, once they sort out like the porno games are on itch.io, the itch.io app is on the PC version of Epic, and the lawyer for Apple is like, but you are going to bring that itch.io app to the Epic Game Store on phones, right? And they're like, I don't know. Maybe.
I have no idea. Like, I don't make those decisions. So
like they really
probably know.
I love this. Everybody should go read this because it's just watching this fucking soccer marm try to get in there and be like, you like sex and boobies and fucking.
I want to see this in one of those Ace Attorney like things, these generators that they make.
Oh yeah,
I want to see that so bad. Just Edgeworth trying to get Phoenix to be like, admit it, you sell porn on your store, Phoenix, right?
I just want to see it in the style of Rick and Morty with Judge Morty and defendant Rick, like that one video. But yeah, I gotta just say, guys, I mean, I don't know who listens to Rage Select, but you guys know Apple sucks a bunch of assholes, right? Like they're like this really controlling, manipulative company that like just really wants to have complete control over what you can do with their devices. Where like you paid money to get their hardware, and yet they still want to dictate whether or not you can look at fucking anime titties on your iPhone because it's got to be safe for children because everybody knows that you got to make your total communications device locked down to the youngest possible person who might put their little grubby mitts on it. Like, dude, fuck that. Fuck a bunch of that. So,
gotta stop that porn.
Yeah. Speaking of stopping porn, I have been fascinated by this particular story. So
I did read this one.
Good.
Fucking insane.
It is. So a little while back, we had the saga of Super Seducer can't get on Steam, and nobody would tell Richard LaRuina why. Well, there's this new company, and they made this game called Holodeck XX, which is basically like somebody's making a porno video game. They want to put it on Steam, and where they like 3D scan like real life porn actresses, and then they put them in, and there's like a VR version of the game. So they put in they like submitted one version of the game to Steam. And it was like, you get to take the clothes off in VR. And, it's just like they take their clothes off in VR. And Steam was like, no, that's pornography. And they were like, okay, well, let's do another one. We'll do one where it's like you get to know the person and you talk to them. There's like dialogue options. Like, oh, okay. It's like a video game, right? And they were like, no, that's pornography. And then they like did another one where you can like pose people or take off the clothes or do something like that. They did it, and Steam was like, no, that's pornography. And they were like, well, could you explain to us what the fuck pornography means? Because all that happens is Steam just keeps coming back and saying no. And here's the thing is that I want to make it very clear, like I did when we were talking about Super Seducer, where I'm not some like super pro pornography advocate, but I have seen the amount of tits on like there is a game that came out the day that we recorded this on Steam called like Succubus Cafe that is just 3D models of anime girls having sex with the main character. Like that's pretty much all it is. And like that is allowed. That is not just allowed, but it's like on the recommended list on the front page of Steam. But this is not, and Steam will not. Steam seems like they really don't want to say why. To me, it seems like Steam does not want to have pornographic content on their website, but I would be willing to bet that pornographic content makes up like, at this point, like 30% of the profits of the bullshit that's on Steam these days.
That's the thing is Steam opened the floodgates, and now they're trying to close the floodgate a little bit, and they don't really know how to tell them what their limits are because they don't even know, to be honest. Like, it's obvious they don't know, or else they would have just told them outright, probably. Like, I don't know, it's frustrating because it's like the MPAA where like you submit something and then you don't hear anything back from them, and they're just like, porn is all they say, and you're like, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, could you tell me what that means? And then all they're doing is they're trying to lessen it and trying to make it match some of the stuff that's already on Steam. Like you said, there's some crazy sexual stuff already on there.
Absolutely.
And they're like, nope, it's porn. And they're like, but it's not really anymore. Like, even as far as they go.
So I will briefly just say that like it seems like Steam's stance on this is that if it's a real person, then no. Like because I think that's like why they were rejecting Super Seducer, was because rather than being hentai or just, some fucking asset store model of a Lady Dimitrescu fucking riding some dude, whatever, I don't know. It was like that, like in Super Seducer, there were women. It was video of actual women. And in here, it is a 3D scan of an actual woman. But then like the developer of this holodeck service is like, okay, so we scanned an actual porn actress in here. What if we had a 3D modeler like look at reference material for this same actress and create a 3D model based on this actress from the ground up? Would that be available? Because it's not like you can't have no 3D models. There are tons of 3D modeled porn games on Steam.
The thing. It's like, what is the limit? Like, do I have to make them look cartoony or something? Like, what is the limit?
Somebody brought up a really good thing. These developers brought up a really good point where they were like, you know what game has a crap ton of CGI boobs in it? Cyberpunk 2077. You can have sexual relations in Cyberpunk 2077. So, like, if this porn actress was to lend her likeness to a character in a topless bar in Cyberpunk 2077, would Cyberpunk 2077 then be, quote, pornography and not allowed on Steam's store? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, what is the limit?
Right.
Like, is it because Keanu Reeves is in it? Like, should we just get Keanu Reeves to be in this porno and then just go from there?
I want to live in a future where every single porn game is like required to have Keanu Reeves in it because that's the only way you can get it on Steam. And so it's just like a porn game, and in the bottom there's just a window of Keanu Reeves on like a webcam eating lunch, like just eating a sandwich. Just Yep.
Porn.
Yeah.
That's a dog.
Cyberpunks, huh? Oh boy, that's me. Yeah, I like. Here's the thing: I don't really give a shit whether there's porn on the internet or not. I mean, actually, that's not true. I think there should be porn on the internet. But like
controversial stance.
Steam has you made this problem. Gabe Newell, you created this issue when you started allowing, like, what was that? What was that game that Amanda and I played the sequel to? That's like the Match 3, and then there's just a bunch of booby ladies in there.
I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
God, Honey Pop. They put the first one of those on there. Like for a while, remember, like you get banned on Twitch if you tried to play Honey Pop, and now everybody's like, hot tubs. That's the new thing on Twitch.
There's so many games that are just like, hey, let's get all this nudity. Fuck it, and they open that floodgate, and they don't know how to keep that floodgate from getting too ridiculous. And I don't think they have any good idea at this point.
I think anybody who opens the porn floodgate on the internet and then is like, whoa, this is getting out of hand. Like, no, you knew. Nobody could not know what was going to happen once you started allowing people to post pornography anywhere on the internet. Is it goes from 0 to 1 million, like in an hour.
That was the thing about Tumblr. Like, Tumblr was just that sort of thing. It's like, oh, you can have some porn stuff on here, and then you got like the weirdest fucking fetishes imaginable on Tumblr.
Yep.
Which is why it was funny when they banned all that stuff on Tumblr.
Also Apple's fault, everybody. You can thank Apple for the reason that Tumblr doesn't have any tits on it anymore, because
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Anyway, we actually have usually Steam comes a little bit later in the news cycle, but we had a lot of Steam news this week. There was a recent public panel in New Zealand where Gabe Newell was asked by a question from the crowd where they said, would Steam ever come to consoles? And Gabe Newell replied, quote, you will have a better idea of that by the end of the year, unquote. Now, that's absolutely no idea what the fuck that means. Does that mean like...
What that means is he's bringing porno to the systems. It's obvious.
Well, because I mean, like... Okay, I think that by default, the thing you would expect would be like, does this mean that Steam is going to be on my PlayStation? No, it does not mean that. Like, neither Sony nor Microsoft nor Nintendo is going to allow a competitor to the shop on their dedicated platform that they created to be installed. So, like...
It also wouldn't make any sense. Because, like... What would they be selling?
Well, okay, but see, remember, like, there was the weird Steam integration with Portal 2, like, on consoles, where Portal 2 on consoles had, like a Steam link for, like community stuff. It had some.
See, well, that makes more sense than like selling stuff, though. Is the thing?
Yeah,
it's like if they put Steam on, then yeah, I could see that being like a community connection of like, look what they're playing on the thing or whatever. But they're not going to sell anything off of it unless it's like one of their own original stuff. Because I doubt they'll let them sell anything else other than that.
Yeah, and like, well, considering the fact that they haven't made anything for for how long, like the only thing.
Put Artifact on there.
Yeah, Artifact.
And then twitch the porn from there. You'll be fine.
The only thing I could see is like if they put Half-Life Alyx on PSVR, because it's not even like the Xbox or the Switch have a VR solution, and that's been like the only game they've put out. So like that's the only thing I can think of outside of maybe some kind of app. You know what? The other thing is I could think of something where they had like some kind of cross communication app. Like I can almost see that as crossplay becomes more of a thing, having some kind of Steam com app that links into like your friends list so that you can like go play with your friend who's on Steam. You can send an invite request to play a multiplayer game with a game that's on Steam that has crossplay. That is the only thing I can think of that would make sense.
I can see Microsoft 100% letting them do that.
Yeah. Let's see. The other thing that we found out is that they're making a new Vive. Now, Michael, I know what you're thinking. I can read your mind from here. Well, the previous Vive was like $1 billion. How many billions of dollars is this Vive? And the Vive Pro 2... if you just buy the headset, it's $750. But if you buy the kit that actually has the Pro 2, the base station 2.0, the controllers, it's $1,400.
Oh my god!
And you also have to have a computer that can run. Like. Here's the thing. It's got a 120 hertz panel on it. And it is, let's see if I can find, it's got a 5K resolution with 2.5 thousand pixel, or 2.5K per eye. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's also the headset, the field of view has been expanded to 120 degrees through a dual stacked lens, which says that it virtually eliminates the screen door effect, which is where you can still see like the sides of the screens. Or no.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I've heard that referred to as that. On old ones, I've heard screen door is like because you can see the pixels. You see the space between the pixels, and so it looks like there's kind of a grid.
Oh, so it's like you're like looking through a screen door.
Yeah. I don't know which one of those this is, but it's going to have some compression support. I mean, basically, like, you know, this is a fucking Vive, and it's going to have IPD adjustments. It's going to go with display ports. It's going to have external headphones. Works with all the trackers. It's got a Vive, apparently has a facial tracker. I was actually unaware of this, that you can attach to the front of it so that when you make expressions, they can be like relayed through to like virtual chat, so you could like do stuff with your face.
Oh, okay. That explains some of that stuff.
Yeah. And so pre-orders actually went on sale on the 11th of May. So I'm sure that it's probably already completely sold out.
Most likely.
They also said they have another one that's called the Vive Focus 3, which is a standalone headset, kind of like the Oculus Rift 2 thing, whatever. This one has 5K resolution, 120 degree FOV, but the refresh rate is only 90 instead of 120 hertz. And that one's $1,300. But
I'm glad that they're putting more money into VR stuff. I just wish it was enough to make it more affordable for the normal person.
Yeah, it still seems like a real boutique-y. Well, I don't know. I mean, like the Quest 2, those are like $200, $300, something like that. They're not too expensive. It's just, you know, this whole...
What's the fancy ones? The ones that actually are like, you can do all the crazy shit with is the thing, though.
Yeah, true. I don't know. I think, though, okay, this actually is a really good transition, though, because the other thing that we got today is through a leak in quote unquote reliable sources on Upload VR, we got some information about what the PS5 PSVR the PSVR 2 is going to be like. So instead of 5K, this one, and 2.5K per eye, this one, according to this report, the PS5 VR, PSVR 2 will have 2000 by 2040 pixels per eye with 4K by 2040 total. This is actually the really interesting thing, though, is that it's got this feature. I've been way behind on this, Michael. Eye tracking and foveated rendering. So apparently, if this is to be believed, what the PSVR 2 does is it will actually track where your eye is looking. And what it can do with the foveated rendering is it means that it can like shift rendering priority to like where your eye is looking and then taper off the detail like into your peripheral vision so that the place where your pupils are pointed is getting like the most like getting all of the information, and then the rest of it is like deprioritized a little bit, which apparently is a thing that some other I think that they said like the Quest 2, I believe, has a thing where you can set it so that it's only doing foveated rendering in the center, right? But it doesn't have eye tracking. So like if you ever move your eyes, then you'll see that everything else looks like garbage except for what's right in front of you.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also a few other things they talked about. IP. They didn't have an IPD adjustment on the PSVR, which is just the interpupillary distance, basically how far apart your eyes are. And it's going to have inside-out tracking, which is what the Quest 2 has, where it's like the headset uses external cameras to track where your hands are, so it doesn't require a bunch of like shit in the corner of your rooms. Haptic feedback with the controller stuff on the controllers. They actually said, according to this article, that it's supposed to have haptic feedback, that the headset will have a haptic feedback built in. And I'm like, why? Is it going to vibrate on my head? I don't want that to happen.
Punch it in the face.
Yeah. According to this report, though, the other thing, though, is that it still will have a wire. It'll, at this point, there'll be just one USB-C cable that just goes directly to the PlayStation 5 instead of having to have that like breakout box.
Okay.
So yeah, but I don't know. See, honestly, Michael, this sounds more like what I want, right? Like,
yeah, no, it does too, actually. Yeah,
I don't want to have to keep chasing that PC Master Race bullshit just to make sure that my computer is fast enough that VR doesn't make me want to throw up when I play it.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying. It's like not everybody, the average person is not one of the PC like going crazy over RTX like 3800 sort of things. They're just a person who wants to buy a thing and play the thing. They don't have time to troubleshoot a PC game kind of thing. They just want to sit down and play. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those people. Like, this sounds awesome. Like, I would totally want something like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. Especially if they take everything that they learned from the first one and kind of integrate it into the second one, and especially if it's a fair price. I don't know how much. Yeah, you don't really do VR. VR still makes you queasy when you play it, right?
It does after a long periods of time. Like if I play it for a bit, I won't notice it until I take the headset off, and then once I take the headset off, it's just like my whole body's just like destroyed. Like my vision's just like goes nuts.
So what would the price tag for this need to be for you to pick one up? How much would you pay? Now, how much would you pay?
Well, nowadays, I think max I might do 400, but I won't do any higher than that.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. In other PlayStation news, we got a much more accessible PlayStation 5 news. We got a commercial that apparently Sony is finally listening to what everybody's fucking saying at all times. And there's going to be finally some new colors of PlayStation controllers. One is red on black, and the other one is black on black. So you can finally have a black fucking PlayStation controller, PS5 controller. Even though
$5 more, apparently, though.
It said that they were $70. Is that?
Yeah, I think the normal ones are 65.
Okay.
I think they are.
Even though the black though still is like two tones of black. It's like a slightly different black on black to maintain the dumb PS5.
Is it the same color Woodhouse, or is one slightly black and the other one slightly darker black?
Yeah. I think I'm probably going to buy one of these just because I only have one controller. I didn't get the extra controller when I bought my PS5.
Oh, okay. So you didn't do what I did, where I got 2 of them.
Yes.
I would consider it. Like, I know a lot of people have been wanting, and there are a lot of people who bought those custom faceplates, so this would go great for a lot of the people who got those.
Yeah, I kind of just want all of my consoles to be black, I mean, especially because I feel like white was a really bad decision for my PS5 controller because I can already start to see it getting a little like I can see the dirt and like.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, human hands are just covered in shit all day, and you can wash them, and then 10 minutes later they're just back to being garbage, and that's what you're supposed to sweat and hold on to your controller with. Come on, PlayStation.
I kind of like the white color, though. It makes it this futuristic-y kind of look, but I do get the whole like does it come in black kind of thought process with it.
I think this red one is pretty slick looking too.
The red one's real nice looking. The red one I may consider getting, but I don't know.
It's really,
I thought about buying a skin for one of mine, actually, but I don't know.
It's really interesting how, I mean, I guess I'd noticed it on the other one, but how like the PlayStation buttons don't have any colors on them. Even like the new Xbox controller does have the new Xbox controller has the colors on the buttons, but the PlayStation one is so two-tone. It's like the D-pad and the controller buttons are all kind of the same color as the rest of that other color.
I actually didn't notice that.
Yeah, because I can see it on the other one where they're just gray, and so it's like this just monolithic color. But I mean, not like you're looking at your hands when you're playing games anyway. I felt so bad though, like last week on the episode of It Takes Two that Matt and I did, there was a whole like there was a whole like quick time event button pressing puzzle, and I've been making Matt play on an Xbox controller, and so it's like A, and he's like, I don't know which one that is.
That's the thing. That's the thing about people who don't. Hell, that's the thing just about playing all systems as well. Is that A could be 2 different things when you say it nowadays? Because if you're playing Nintendo and it's like hit A or hit X or hit Y, you're just like
Michael, X is the worst because X is on 3 controllers and it's a different button on every fucking one of them. So
100%. Like you'll be playing a game and it's just like, make sure you hit the X button to do the thing. I'm like, oh fuck, what system am I on right now?
Yeah,
it's worse if you're doing emulation.
Oh, I can see that. Let's see. In other PlayStation news, we got a report that apparently PlayStation Studios has 25 games in development, and half of those are new IPs that we don't even know. So
nice.
Yeah,
that makes me excited though.
Yeah, a lot of my favorite games from the last generation, came out of the PlayStation. I like the PlayStation first party stuff, so I'm excited to see. And I don't know, I guess there's a part of me that gets a little, to go back to my being an internet fraud thing where it's just like, I'd like that there's a new Ratchet and Clank, but the only reason I like that there's a new Ratchet and Clank is because there was precisely one last generation. Like, if there had been 4 Ratchet and Clank games on the PS4 and then they were like, and now here's another one on the PlayStation 5, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, bring back fucking Sly Cooper for fuck's sake. Like, quit making Ratchet and Clank games. But
oh no, that's a normal feeling though. Like when they kept making, fucking Killzone games for a bit, and then it's like, and then you were just like, I don't care about Killzone anymore, and then they stopped making them, and people were like, where's Killzone? How come they haven't made another Killzone? It's like,
Killzone Shadowfall is not the worst game in the world. The PlayStation 4 launch Killzone game is not as bad as the PS3 Killzone games. And I know because I played through every single one of those motherfucking games, and Shadowfall is actually good. It's actually a good game.
It happens though. Like you said, like every time they keep making, like that's the reason people are tired of Call of Duty. If they stop making Call of Duty for a couple of years, somebody's going to be like, oh, thank God, another Call of Duty.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see. In other PlayStation news, I know we got a lot of PlayStation news, but I think we're almost to the end of it. PS5s apparently are not going to be on store shelves. They're going to be the same dumbass fucking follow the Twitter account and buy one if you can in 10 minutes. Michael, I'm not trying to like rub my PlayStation success in anyone's faces. I remember just telling Jason, I was like, I had absolutely no idea how goddamn lucky you and I were to get those fucking PlayStation pre-orders. Like
we got them, no cancellations.
Yeah,
and nothing went wrong at all the entire way through. And that was the luckiest thing that possibly could have happened to both of us.
I know. It makes me absolutely insane because I'm just, when we got it, it was like, oh man, whoo, well, that was exciting. And I was like, little did I know that people were going to spend the entire next year of their lives like devoted to trying to give Sony money for a consumer product. Like,
well, the fact you got both is another miracle.
Yeah.
I think. It's like, fuck, man.
I think the Xboxes are a little bit easier to get, but yeah, that's true.
They're slightly easier to get, but that's only because for some reason the shortage isn't as bad, kind of thing. Like if you go to eBay and type in Xbox Series X, you can get one for like $700. Or if you type in a PS5, you're spending like 4 digits like immediately.
Yeah. But anyway, it's probably not going to get good until it's probably not going to ease off until sometime in 2022. This year is probably going to be also bad when it comes to trying to get a PlayStation 5. It's just that fucking chip shortage, man. Like by the time they build enough infrastructure to manufacture more semiconductors, this whole rush could be over and the company would take a huge hit at suddenly expanding manufacturing to the point of, because like the current manufacturing infrastructure is like maxed out. Right. The only thing to do is build a brand new factory. And if suddenly the demand drops, but it's one of those things, Michael, where I'm like, how much longer does every piece of consumer electronics have to be like hard to get before you motherfuckers finally build a new something, right? Like you can't get video cards, you can't get consoles, you can't get fucking phones. Like
it's crazy as hell.
Come on, guys.
It's absolutely like not something anyone expected, and I think that's fascinating.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, in other PlayStation news, if you're going to get Days Gone on the PC, I don't know if this was something that people expected, but it's not going to have DLSS or ray tracing support at all. Just no.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, they might be bringing it later, but it's not going to be in there by default. It does have these super resolution modes. It does like enhanced widescreen and all that stuff we've already talked about, but it's not going to have like those additional things. I would not be surprised if DLSS or ray tracing gets added to Days Gone, if it gets added on the PlayStation 5 version first, because it still is like a Sony product, right? So
yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me.
It's still surprising how much this game started getting more love, because when it came out, I didn't know anyone who fucking cared about this game.
Yeah, I bet it's going to do very well on the Steams, or maybe even the Epic Game Store. Apparently, we had another story out of this Epic versus Apple where they said that behind the scenes, Epic courted not just Sony but all of the major game companies to try to put the PC ports of their console games exclusively on the Epic Game Store. Now, it didn't get very far, but apparently it got far enough that Epic offered them just like straight up $200 million in dedicated sales to put like when they were going to start moving stuff over there. And apparently they kind of just did this blind without even knowing that Sony was going to start doing that. They were just like $200 million, which like, again, refer to last week's podcast where like $200 million sounds like a lot until you what was it, like $4 billion that Epic made in Fortnite?
Oh, yeah. That they were making? No, it was like $9 billion they had made in like a certain amount of time. That you mentioned.
2 years.
And I was like, fuck me sideways. $9 billion goddamn dollars.
Yeah. So like you can afford to be tossing around $200 million. You can afford to be taking fucking Apple to court if you have $9 billion. Like
they can make a whole other country if they wanted to.
They could just stop making games right now and then just fucking the company would be exactly where it is in like, I don't know, a decade or two. But
it's crazy.
Apparently,
it's absolutely nuts.
Apparently, they also tried to get Microsoft to do stuff, which I could actually imagine. Michael, can you imagine if Halo Infinite was an Epic Game Store exclusive on the PC.
Jesus Christ.
But
that would be crazy, but they would never do something like that.
Well, the problem is that Microsoft has their own store. They have their own PC game store. So,
And Game Pass is already like a huge hit for them.
Yeah. And then apparently they even took a stab at Nintendo, but they called it a moonshot. They were just like, just try it. Like, we really don't expect anything to happen, but you could just give it a shot.
Here's a $200 million.
Yeah.
What do you just give us something? It doesn't have to be even Mario. It could be like a Luigi game. I don't care.
But then, again, refer to last week's podcast and Nintendo's earnings in the year 2020 and be like, 200 million is an insult. 200 million is like what I spent for lunch today. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and transition over to Microsoft because we've got some Microsoft stuff. There's some dumbass shoe wars going on between Microsoft and Sony, but I put that in there as a transition more than anything else. Adidas is making shitty Xbox shoes to compete with Nike's dumb PlayStation
they look
shoes.
Really bad.
They all look like shit, and shoes are on your feet, and who cares what they look like? And I'm the wrong person to care about this, but yeah. Anyway, over to Microsoft. Apparently, we got some news out of Shepshal Ed. I don't know. This is on the Xbox Era podcast you talked about. They have they're confident.
It looks like somebody fell on a keyboard.
It really does. It really does. That they got the information that Microsoft has bought advertisement time for Starfield, and this has been a real big rumor mill thing that Starfield will be announced at E3, and then will be out before the end of the year. Which
wait, is it called Special Ed? Is that
Special Ed? Yes,
Special Ed.
Special Ed.
Jesus fucking Christ!
You got to get real ways to do it.
Sorry, it's just I realized it and I was like, that's so fucking stupid.
That's all right. I mean, this would make a certain amount of sense if they announced Starfield in 2018, so this will be year 3. It's been in the works, and at least one of those years, I guess, they were not pandemic working from home. They did announce Fallout 4, and it was out that year. So
yeah, it was a few months kind of thing.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if this was the Xbox showstopper, right? Like the E3 Xbox show, and then it ends with oh yeah, and by the way, we've got one more thing, and it's a Starfield, and then and then at the end it's 2021. Everybody's and if there was people in the audience, they'd be like, and if it was
that would be pretty cool.
If it was a Bethesda audience, it would be even worse because they won't let those motherfuckers shut up.
Those are amazing because they're such shitty, or not shitty, but they're so overly enthusiastic that they're just guys, we just want to tell you about the game. It's please stop.
It's you know what, it feels fake to me on the Bethesda ones when they start talking about Elder Scrolls Online. Everybody loses it fucking I don't know, some rock star just walked out, Keanu Reeves walked out on stage oh my god, they're gonna talk about Elder Scrolls Online. Oh my god, what's the new expansion? It's guys, nobody cares. Just
no. Well, Chris apparently might now because we found out he started playing it.
Oh yeah, Chris started playing Elder Scrolls. So,
oh boy.
Let's see. In other Xbox news, we got news that apparently. So I don't know. You probably don't know this as a pain in the butt thing, but right now Xbox is able to what? You can quick suspend, quick resume. Up to, I think it's 7 or 8 games. But yeah, there's no way to tell which ones are suspended and which ones are not. So I don't really care because it's not the load times are all that much. I never understood this whole feature where people are just man, you can switch between 5 different games and it only takes a second. I'm who fucking wants to do that? That sounds, what are you playing Halo and Forza and Minecraft all at the same time and you got a 20-second attention span? You're just nah, back to Minecraft, back to Forza. Wait, just pause right in the middle of the race. Now I'm gonna go back to Halo and play a multiplayer match. Oops, I got killed. I'm gonna drop out, play some Ori in the Blind Forest. I'm whoa. What?
Super ADHD. Just beyond ADHD.
But one of the things right now is that there's not really a direct thing that shows you what is suspended and like what is ready for resuming. And apparently they're going to have like not just a little icon that says it, but you're going to be able to add like a category under your pins on your dashboard that says quick resume, and then has like the games that are suspended that you could just like boom pop right back into, which is good. It's good.
Sure, for those people who are crazy enough to use it that many times, sure.
They also have this like throwback pulsating original Xbox green blob background in this update, which apparently mimics like what the original Xbox was like when it booted up.
Yeah. That's kind of fun.
Looks like garbage to me. I don't know why anybody would want this in the back of their amorphous blob.
People love nostalgia. That's the thing.
Ugh. Yeah. To wake me up when there's a theme that lets my PlayStation 5 look like a PS1 freaking home screen, and I will uninstall that immediately and never use it.
That would be so weird to see, though.
Yeah.
It's going to have that play CD feature on it.
Yeah. You know what I want? I want there to be one where when I start up my PlayStation, it does the startup for every PlayStation version all the way up to 5. So it starts out with the like bring ding 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 and the PlayStation logo, then a whoom with the PS2, and then the like for the 3.
Have you ever seen that video where like somebody gets like a bunch of those startups and like connects them all?
No.
I'll have to show
you what you're talking about. Yeah,
they're really fun. I have to see if I can find them again.
I know there's one I saw where it was like the GameCube one, but the thing just like rolled off to one side and then just like wrote like a whole sentence or something, like the little like yeah. But see, you know what? Like being in the Xbox or Xbox Insider program to get access to those new things may not be the only reason to be in the Xbox Insider program, because apparently Microsoft is toying with the idea of letting people buy the Series X and Series S through the Insider, if you're Insider members, with this thing called the Console Purchase Pilot, which is a program to let people basically like kind of cast their lot directly to Microsoft for the ability to buy one of the new consoles. And it's funny because this would actually make sense, because the Xbox Insider program is usually people who are trying out like new features and they're Xbox enthusiasts. So like these would be the people that would be probably better evangelists for the system than just the rank and file everyday person.
Actually, yeah, 100%. That actually would be a really good thing for those people, because my brother did that for a bit. In fact, that's how I got Halo Reach before it came out for a while, because they gave him one of those like test discs kind of thing.
Okay,
so I had that for at least a few months before it came out.
This does make you wonder, though, Michael. It just occurred to me. You remember how I believe you and I both signed up for like notify me when PlayStations are on sale, and they didn't. They just never did. I don't think I ever got an email saying not then, not now, not ever have I gotten an email.
I know people who got them like months later, like after already having bought one, like got it, or like after like hunting them down as hard as they could. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, you could buy one now. They're like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And it was at random. Like there was no fucking like rhyme or reason to it. Like you buy so many digital games on there that it was a shock that you didn't get one, like at all. But I knew like one guy who got it, or I knew a couple people who got it, and they were like, I don't buy that many things on here, like digitally. And they got one like right away. And it's like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what you want out of me, Sony. I've spent so much fucking money on PlayStation games over the years that, like, you know, I only wish that I was able to have a PSN account that went back to the PlayStation 1, because you would just be like, just give him the next one. Look at how much money he fucking spends on our shit. Exactly. I got like 5.
That's so dumb.
I've got, let's see, I've got 2 PS2s, 3 PS3s, 2 PS4s, and a PS5. I've got 8 PlayStations. No, and the classic, the dumb classic. I got 9. No, I also have a Vita TV, an original PSP, a PSP Go, and a Vita. I have 13 PlayStations in my house right now. Fuck you, Sony. I have a Sony
about to go.
Vio laptop in my closet. Fuck you, Sony. Fuck you, Sony. Give me free
the
stuff.
VR headset. Too.
And a VR headset. 14. Boo. Anyway. Well, you know what? I don't think console. Well, this is going to be our last one. We're going to take a break after this. But I love this story because apparently, the world has just become. You know how when you watch, Mad Max Fury Road, and you're like, how did we get here? How did we go from a functional society to people just wearing like football pads and feathers? There's like a guy with an electric guitar who's driving around taking shit from other people. Apparently the answer is just consumer products, because Target is going to stop selling Pokemon and sports cards. And the reason for this is because it has become too psychotic for them to sell these things anymore. There was a story a few weeks back about like some 35-year-old dude was like walking out of the Target with like a pack of sports cards, and like because they've now limited them to one pack a person, and like 3 20-year-old dudes tried to jump him in the parking lot, and then like he pulled a gun on them, and then they fucking ran over like fucking baseball cards or football cards. Like is that apparently they tried to limit it to like one pack per customer. That hasn't worked, and Target is now just like, look, we're going to sell them on our website, but you can't fucking come in here and buy this shit anymore because we're not about to like have people pulling sidearms on each other for fucking Pocket Monster cards. I don't understand how anybody could want a thing as much as people apparently want these fucking trading cards. Now, I did see on a YouTube video, Michael, that apparently not that long ago, one of them YouTube Paul brothers, the Jake Paul or Logan Paul or Paul Rudd, one of the Pauls, started collecting Pokemon cards, and I'm like, oh well, there it is. You fucking asshole! You've ruined it for everyone. Well, you fucking don't make those popular.
I'd heard like a lot of people were doing stuff like that. Like there was a guy that I used to follow. I saw like one of those like. He had one of those like highlights of my streams because I don't really watch the streams because they're like 4 or 5 hours long. And I don't have time for that. And they're like, well, I'm going to open this box of Pokemon cards and see if I get this rare Charizard or something. It's like people are using them for streaming now, and then other people are scalping with them. Like it's like I also heard that Walmart is going to stop selling them too, and they sell guns.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like what the fuck?
Yeah. Apparently, the like Magic cards are fine. Like nobody's getting a fight over Magic cards because only like real nerds go and buy Magic cards. Yeah, I don't know. This is just like you remember when we had that story about like the people were like people were stealing the boxes of Happy Meal toy Pokemon things and like selling them on eBay, and it's just like. No, stop it. What are you doing? It's fine. I mean, I don't care. This is one of the advantages, Michael, to being a soulless robot who doesn't fucking want anything out of the world, because I don't want a bunch of cards in my house. You guys can have those, but like seriously, I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird thing.
People are fighting over the dumbest things, and it's, oh, Jesus.
Well, one thing you don't have to fight over is whether or not there's going to be a break in the Rage Select podcast right now, because we are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to try as hard as we can to get through these news stories, because the questions they're piling up, Michael. Oh,
really?
We have to start cutting. I cut a lot of news stories this week, but I didn't cut enough because pornography is fun to talk about. So,
and Keanu Reeves in pornography too.
Keanu, make sure to put Keanu in there. We'll be back. We'll be back in a minute with more podcasts. And Michael, it's time to talk about the thing that Rage Select likes to talk about more than anything, and that is first-person online multiplayer military shooter games. Are you
I don't know what
excited?
to say to that.
Are you excited?
I don't know what to say.
No,
Is Nobbleberry in it?
No, Nobbleberry's not in it. Apparently, the Battlefield Twitter has put out a cryptic tweet that was immediately supplanted by the fact that we know that they're about to say some shit. They just said words that rhyme with soon, June, boom. So that's there's going to be some shit about Battlefield, the new Battlefield in June. But then the thing is that in addition to all this, all of this court shit that we've got going on, it's also the end of a quarter, so we've got a whole bunch of stories that are based off of quarterly earnings calls and stuff. And so we actually know that as part of the Q4 2021 earnings call that there's going to be a Battlefield 6. It's going to be on the Xbox, the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but then it's also going to be on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So and apparently EA is doing their E3 stuff a year later, or a month after E3. They're not directly in E3. They're doing it in July, I believe, or something like that. But
that's interesting.
Yep, there's going to be a new Battlefield. It's going to be out soon. What are the chances that we'll get something cool that's not either just old Battlefield or the last one was 1? No, it was 5.
5, right?
Yeah, and that was World War II, right? So
yeah, that was World War II, I think.
What do you think? What are the odds, Michael? Is it going to be Modern Warfare, or is it going to finally be the sequel to Battlefield 2042 that we all know that we want, with the robots and the mechs and the fucking carriers and shit? It's not going to be that.
It's going to be that sequel to Battlefield Hardline that no one asked for.
Battlefield Hardline 2, yes. I mean,
shock everyone.
Bad Company 3, guys. Come on. Bad Company 3.
All anybody actually wants.
Yeah. Or, yeah. Nope. I don't have anything else. Just Battlefield Bad Company 3. Make that happen. Does anybody even care? Did anybody even play the single-player campaign that was in Battlefield 5? Because I tried to, and it was so boring that I stopped.
I started, and I was like, I don't like this. And then, I stopped immediately.
Yeah. Let's see. We also have some Call of Duty news. This, to me, is the weirdest fucking... I don't know. This is always so very weird to me. So last year, there was a in Warzone, they had I believe for Halloween, they had Leatherface and Jigsaw were in there as skins you could get.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
And now we know that because it's gone back to the 80s, apparently they're going to be putting Rambo and John McClane skins in Warzone. And they put
John McClane skin.
Yeah, we don't know what the John McClane skin, but they put out this little teaser on their Twitter that just says become war, and it just shows a guy with the Rambo skin using apparently the bow and arrow. It was a new thing in Warzone, and it just says become war. And it's so funny because as somebody who grew up with the Rambo franchise, I'm John Rambo would not be a fan of what you've done here, Call of Duty Warzone.
He would be really depressed by what you've done here, kind of thing. And that's the funniest thing, is that John Rambo started off as this nice PTSD character story, and then turned into the point where it's now he's a Call of Duty character.
Right, but what's weird about it though, right, is that then John Rambo kind of had him going back to being kind of this broken, emotionally scarred person who at the end has to kill everybody in the world with 150 caliber machine gun on the back of a Jeep. That part was stupid, but the rest of it was I don't know, they were trying. And then the last one was he lives on a fucking farm in Montana in a interconnected series of tunnels, and his housekeeper's daughter gets abducted by the cartels, and he has to go to Mexico, and then he has to beat up all the cartels because anyway,
the last movie's really stupid.
There are
I love the Mortal Kombat ending though that he gets. It's an actual good character story thing for him, which shocked the hell out of me, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very weird to me, especially when you consider that there have been 5 Rambo movies, and if the first one and the fourth one and the fifth one are more about the kind of psychological toll of war, at least trying to have lip service. It's there have been more psychological toll of war Rambo movies than there have just look at that, America, blow it all to kingdom come, fuck him up, Rambo. So. Yeah,
gotta save the Taliban or whatever.
Of course, I guess I'm a big old hypocrite because I didn't have any problem when he was in Mortal Kombat. Thank you for reminding me of that. Where it's just he gets to fight fucking Melina.
Yeah, but that's like an absurd thing. It's like it's throwing a guy into the sub world. This is like you're throwing him back into like outright war.
True. It's very true. Let's see. We also got in Ubisoft's earnings call this week. Apparently, they said that they're going to be prioritizing persistent free-to-play adaptations of their video game franchises and licenses. So,
Wait, what?
Yeah. So apparently Ubisoft is going to be putting more of a focus between like their big AAA titles into making garbage games as service free-to-play games. And I think that a lot of this is like last week we got the news that the Division is going to be releasing a free-to-play a version of the Division Homeland. It wouldn't surprise me also if we see like Rainbow Six and what's the other one? Though it's the Ghost Recon become this.
I can see those three doing that.
Maybe
Rainbow
even
Six is already halfway there.
Yeah, maybe even Far Cry at some point as a multiplayer type of game with vehicles and wingsuits and crazy shit where they're just like, but to me this is just like Ubisoft just keeps getting further and further. I'm just like, no, Ubisoft, come back to us. Ubisoft is like, I'm going to go further in this direction. And I'm like, okay, I hate you even more now. Or like, remember this Riders Republic game where it was like steep, but everything, like also motorbikes and
yeah, that's right,
wingsuits and all that shit. And it was like, yeah, race all your friends down a hill, woo! And what's the one? Trials? You remember how they fucked up the last Trials real bad by
fucked up that real bad,
making it online? And like, I get that it makes money and shit, but I really thought that once they fired that one asshole that they would just go back to making like creative single player stories, engagement games for people who didn't want to play online. Apparently they learned the opposite. They were just like, no, more online.
It's funny because I'm picturing like people. I'm picturing these game studios reading the lawsuit from Apple, and they'll be like, "They made how much money off of Fortnite?"
Yeah,
everyone's trying to chase that high. That's what they want. They want that fucking high.
Everyone wants that. They wants that Fortnite. Yeah. Let's see. Sega also had an earnings call where they talked about how they're basically looking for like more games in their back catalog that they can like remaster / remake / put out new stuff. There was a list here which was not like actually games that are being considered, but it was just like games like Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Space Channel 5, Shinobi, Virtua Fighter, Altered Beast, and House of the Dead. I think already there's a House of the Dead remake that's going on.
I think so.
And then Creative Assembly is making some kind of online shooter that Sega hopes is going to be like the biggest fucking thing in the entire world.
Good luck with that, Sega.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, I'm less irritated by this news than I was by the Ubisoft news because like Streets of Rage 4 was great. Like, yeah,
well, that's the thing about all these Sega games is they're not like ones that they just keep pumping out over and over again, except for the Sonic games. But even then, like that's not what they're talking about.
Yeah,
like remake the ones that no one's doing anything with anymore.
Mm-hmm.
When was the last Crazy Taxi game? It was like a PSP remake or something like that.
Probably. I don't even know.
Same with fucking Jet Set Radio. His last thing was on the Xbox, the original Xbox, and. Like these are all games that like no one's been doing anything with for a very long time.
What the fuck? In 2017, there was a game called Crazy Taxi Tycoon. There was like a iOS, Android, top-down, endless business. It's literally there's a link in Wikipedia to endless business management simulator and idle clicker. They turned Crazy Taxi into a fucking idle clicker.
Oh my god.
And the last one before that was Crazy Taxi City Rush in 2014. That was a free-to-play title for iOS and Android. Let's see. Yeah, PSP, Crazy Taxi Fair Wars.
Yeah, that was the last actual game they made.
Yeah.
2007. But that's, like I said, this is a good example of, like, these are all like, titles no one cares. Like, remake Comic Zone. Fuck it. Like, remake whatever the fuck you guys have. Like,
I'd love to...
It's just fascinating.
I'd love to see a new Altered Beast game. Like if they actually did it right. Like I'd love to see an actual Altered Beast game. something like what they did with Streets of Rage, like take the original concept and then give it to like some crazy indie developer and let them do whatever the fuck they want to with it. But yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of cool stuff they could do.
I have more faith in this than I do in Ubisoft.
Make another Vector Man.
Also, Grand Theft Auto is getting a remake. No, not really. Grand Theft Auto 5. This is, I don't know if you had a chance, Michael, to watch this video.
I did not. This
is one of those Mark Cerny-ass tech videos. But basically, what it does is this is incredibly fascinating. So I'm going to play you a little bit of this video. So you've got Grand Theft Auto 5, and then you've got this shader, this filter that they put over Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, look at the trees in this. Like, they look like photorealistic. Like,
oh my god.
And what this is absolutely insane. This is coming from Intel Labs. Everybody should go watch this shit because it looks fucking incredible. Is what they've done is they have Grand Theft Auto 5 running, and then they have an AI sitting between the render of Grand Theft Auto 5 and the screen that is running one more pass on the game before it actually gets out onto the monitor, that is taking like an AI learning algorithm that has looked at like hundreds of pictures of what does like a city look like, and then is like regrading color textures and like redoing certain types of detail levels, and it's using like literally some of the game information of the rendering software to basically pick out like where objects are. So like to differentiate, it'll be like, okay, where's the sky? And then like our AI has looked at a zillion pictures of sky in city and is going to process like what GTA 5 thinks sky is, and then do a final pass on it to make it look more like what a photo sky looks like. And the end result is kind of amazing. Like,
it's really amazing.
Yeah, like it's kind of a little bit lower resolution. Like, this is only a 720p video, and trust me, man, this is an 8-minute video, and like I didn't even watch all of it because there's so much fucking like going into the technical details of what's going on here. But it really does make you wonder about like if we've reached the upper limit of what like just raw hardware can do, and if we're starting to move into between like this and DLSS and some of the other stuff that we've seen, if we're moving into a phase where like the way that graphics are going to become more realistic in the future is not raw processing power, but like AI interpolation that tweaks everything to make it look more like a series of inputs that comes from looking at actual pictures of the world. Because I'm just imagining what this tech would be like if you were able to get it sophisticated enough that it could look at human faces and take like a video game character face and then run more passes on it to make it look more like an actual person. It's got a really interesting implications for the future.
It's scary how realistic because this video you're showing, like I'm using my eyes to look at just the side.
Yeah, like
as if I was in a car, like looking to the right, and like consistently, like it looks like real landscape. Like it looks like a video like that you'd find on YouTube of somebody going, "Oh, I'm just driving down this area or whatever."
Yeah,
like it's scary how like realistic some of that shit looks there.
And they show in this one that this is like the difference in this one is that it's literally using a different. This last part of it that kicks in almost when the video is over is a lot brighter, and it's because it's using a different set of like city palette information to do the interpolation. The thing that jumps out the most to me, especially in the beginning, is just the trees, the way the trees look. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
We've always had difficulty with trees because they're super sharp, and here it's just like really blurring them down, like especially when you look at like the mountain in this one shot of like blurring it down into looking like what a tree looks like when you're driving around in a city.
Yeah.
So like imagine this, but then combine it with that story I was talking before about the whole like like the whole like eyeball tracking in VR to be able to like maximize the amount of processing that's like where you're looking at on the screen. And I don't know, there's some really interesting stuff here where you think about like the future of video game graphics being more about AI technology tech and not about just like raw gigaflops of of raw computing power. I mean, because you remember that video that I showed you where it was like Death Stranding running at 480p, but then DLSS was like up-resing it to like 1440 or something like that.
Yeah.
So this AI shit, man, it's getting scary. I know Bryce doesn't like it, but
oh really?
Yeah, he was like, well, I want to see what the video game maker made, not like what some fucking Skynet decides I should be looking at.
See, that's how Skynet's actually going to happen. It's going to be a game thing.
Yeah, but if
all you do is to draw dicks realistically, and then it loses its shit.
If you want to, you can go look at it's on the Intel ISL channel. It's called Enhancing Photorealism Enhancement, and there's a lot of like I said, there's some real fucking going into some real technical fucking layering bullshit that I couldn't keep track of, but it's really fascinating. It's kind of like that. You remember in the Cyberpunk how they were showing the way that the different languages had different like mouth phenome types? Would put that stuff together. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on out there that, every time I think we're like at the maximum, but then it started making me wonder, Michael, of just like, do I want to play Grand Theft Auto if it looks like real life? Like if I can't tell the difference between driving in my car and playing Grand Theft Auto on my TV, do I want to live in that particular future? Is that where I want to be?
I already had an issue looking at like those shipping containers after playing Metal Gear Solid 5. I don't even want to know like what would happen if I like had full on realistic looking games.
Yeah. Let's see. In other Grand Theft Auto news, apparently there was a lawsuit. I'm sure we talked about this a million years ago, where a bunch of people went out there and reverse engineered the source code of Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City, put it online. They put it on GitHub, and then got a DMCA takedown from Rockstar. And apparently all of the forks on the GitHub page got taken down except for one. There was this one guy who in New Zealand who basically was like, this isn't your code. We have reverse engineered your game and created our own code. So like the whole reason for the takedown was like, well, you can't post Rockstar's code online. And this person was like, well, this isn't Rockstar's code. This is the code that we have reverse engineered from the game. And apparently Rockstar backed down a little bit. Now it's possible that this might just be the beginning of like, this is one of those things where it's like a DMCA claim, like on YouTube, where their next step is basically if they want to reassert, they have to take this guy to court, which I can totally see Rockstar doing.
Well, specifically Take-Two. Take-Two definitely would be the one I could see doing this very easily.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is entirely over yet, but it's nice to see there's someone standing up to it because,
they sued Duke Nukem Forever into existence.
That's true.
It's an actual thing.
That's true. This is, however, one of those things where, like, the mod community and these types of communities are like the people who are making it so you could still fucking play Grand Theft Auto 3 without having, like, an old Xbox or something like that. So, let's see. In other driving around news, apparently, if you're a crazy person with a head full of bees, EA has got you covered. So the Mass Effect Legendary Edition will be out by the time this podcast goes up on the internet. And like we've seen all these videos where they've redone so much of it, mostly in the first one. And one of the big things they did in the first one was they changed up the Mako so that it's less floaty and it's like handles better. You can drive it better. But if you want to do the old way, you can apparently turn off all those enhancements and play the Mako the way God intended, as a bouncy, floaty fucking piece of shit that is terrible to play on. So
the Mako is one of those like weird love-hate relationships I had with it, because I was like, this is kind of neat, but it's kind of dumb.
Well, this is what Mac Walters had a quote where he said, "You'll never get consensus, whether some people love it or some people hate it. We're making a big point of it often in marketing, but it's a lighter touch than I think some people might think. And an optional control scheme is optional, so you can drop back and forth." It's like, all right, great.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, like one of the things that would keep me from playing all the way through Mass Effect 1 was just the endless fucking Mako shit, which I was not interested in doing over and over again.
So long.
Let's see. In other news, we are probably going to be getting some information about a new Dragon Quest game later this month. So basically, May 27th is the 35th anniversary of Dragon Quest, and we're going to be hearing something new about Dragon Quest. Now, whether this is a spin-off, of which there are a bajillion. This could be Dragon Quest Builders 3 or Dragon Quest Dynasty Warriors 2 or any of those things, but we're going to be hearing some Dragon Quest shit at some point.
That's interesting. Yeah, Dragon Quest is one of the most popular fucking things that Square Enix has, and it consistently makes the money. So keep going for it.
Yeah,
it's like their Monster Hunter, like because Monster Hunter makes Capcom a shit ton of money. That's what Dragon Quest is for them.
Yeah, some part of me wishes that I could like Dragon Quest, but I hate is it Toriyama who did the art for it, and it all just looks like fucking RPGs for babies, like with they all look like silly plush outfits and like just I don't
know if they still have them do the designs or if somebody just keeps like that sort of design from there. I have no idea because I don't know. I doubt he still does that many games.
True. Yeah, but it's become like the de facto art style, and I'm sure that Japan would just burn to the ground if they changed the art style on Dragon Quest at any point. I mean, they already don't release that shit on weekdays because everybody will stay home from work to play it. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But anyway, let's see. We got, I don't know. I'm not a Fortnite guy, but we got a really fun little like a little throwback video for Toon Meowscles. So Meowscles being, I don't know, a character that I feel like, John Sitton like bought a Meowscles action figure even though he doesn't play Fortnite because he just likes action figures, and it's a really interesting design. But they put up they made a little like retro Felix the Cat Cuphead a little animation that's pretty cute to announce.
I think that's really nice actually though.
Toon Meowscles.
That's the thing. Yeah, he's one of those characters that, like, when they announced it, is like, that's batshit insane. But I can't help but, like, love how batshit insane that thing looks.
Yep. I mean, this is now a franchise that has, like, both Predator and Superman in it, so fucking who cares?
True, yeah. Star Wars canon inside of it.
That's true. We also got a surprise announcement last week for Zombies Ate My Neighbors and Ghoul Patrol coming to the Nintendo Switch. But they're just really gonna re-release every single LucasArts game that ever was created on the Switch at some point, aren't they?
I'm cool with that if they re-release Indiana Jones in the Infernal Machine.
Where's the Dig, man? I want to play the fucking Dig. Actually, for all I know, the Dig could probably already be on the Switch store, and I wouldn't know.
I would be surprised.
But yeah, this is the Super Nintendo ports of. I think a lot of people know Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I don't know how many people know Ghoul Patrol, which was like a sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
It didn't roll off the tongue the way Zombies Ate My Neighbors did.
Yeah. But, it's going to be $15 for both games. It's a little much, but not the worst. I do remember, like, even in this announcement, they're like, over 70 levels. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. Zombies Ate My Neighbors had just like a billion levels, and I got sick of it at some point. It was just like, no, I'm done. Goodbye.
I don't know anyone who actually, like, will play that game the whole way through.
Yeah. Let's see. We also got an update. We're getting an update to Toe Jam and Earl. What was the original called? It was called like Back in the Groove, called Still in the Groove. It's going to be on the Nintendo Switch. It's going to have bigger levels and more hats, but it's still going to be that same Toe Jam and Earl game that you and I played. I was just like, I don't know that this is a fun video game.
I didn't like it, but my roommate really liked the Toe Jam game apparently, so I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up buying this thing.
There you go. I don't know. Something about it just didn't really click for me, but
it's just a weird fucking game. Like, that's the thing. Either you're really into that or you're not. And that's what I've noticed about it. Because I had a coworker that was also really into it. I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't fucking get it.
Me neither. Let's see. But did you watch this? No More Heroes trailer?
I watched a chunk of it. I didn't get to finish it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very strange. It's okay. So it's the series overview trailer, and it starts with bad girl and this other girl and this guy. And they're like, get ready to
Travis, like, but without his hair standing up.
Is that Travis? Oh,
yeah, that's Travis without his hair standing up.
Okay.
You can tell by his voice.
Fighting stuff, but then it's like a fake YouTube video that then like I'm not doing anything here. Then it like goes to another video where Sylvia is explaining like what happened, and then there's actually like YouTube commercials for No More Heroes that then eventually you have to watch them like hit the skip button on. There's like a weird thing in here where they reference the Metacritic score of No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again, or whatever the Switch one was. It's a very weird trailer. It does, though, look a little bit better, I feel like, than some of the I feel like a lot of the Suda, some of this indie stuff, I guess I'm not really thinking of Suda. I'm thinking of like Deadly Premonition 2, where it was like this stuff that looks just really archaic on the Switch because of the hardware limitations, but I don't know. This looks okay. Looks okay.
I'm really excited still.
Yeah.
Like I'm so fucking excited for it, and I need to finish Strikes Again before this comes out, because apparently there's a lot of characters that get introduced in that are important to Travis's life that I would like to find out more about.
Well, not to be like a spoiler man or anything, but like isn't the other character in Travis Strikes Again Bad Girl's dad?
Yes.
Bad man? And in this trailer, they literally say that Bad Girl is dead before that game starts, and she's in the beginning of this trailer alive. So
yeah, she was one of the bosses of the first one.
Oh, okay.
She's the second to last boss, or maybe the third. I don't remember. She was a pain in the ass to fight, but yeah.
Okay.
She's a sadistic, like, princess-looking girl that like has a baseball bat and just loves killing.
She's very like mid-90s Harley Quinn. I'm getting really mid-90s Harley Quinn vibes off of her.
It's like that, but like full-on psychotic.
Yeah,
like full-on psychotic was the main difference between her.
Okay,
but, yeah. She also had an instant kill move that fucking was just.
All right. We also got another Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade trailer. I actually considered cutting this because it's just like it's a lot more Final Fantasy Intergrade. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of bosses, some Yufis in there. There's some Cloud and stuff. Like I don't really know. There is like a mini game though. Apparently, there's some kind of crazy board game, like it looks like a tower defense or like a MOBA or something that you can play inside of it.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't. I've decided that I'm gonna wait until I might play this and I might play 2 and I might play those for like the show, but I'm not gonna devote my time to playing this fucking game until it's done, until it's fucking finished. Like I don't want to end on a cliffhanger.
I'm glad that they said that if you have the PS4 one that it's a free upgrade and you just have to buy the Yuffie stuff.
Yeah, the Intergrade update. Yeah,
and I may do it later. Who knows? But I still got to get Resident Evil. So.
Oh, there you go. Let's see. We also got a really brief season 4.5 trailer for Fall Guys. I'm glad that it's still going on. This seems to be very like neon 80s. I don't really know what else to say about it. It looks like more Fall Guys, more puzzles. Like I haven't kept up with Fall Guys, so I'm not sure if this is all new or if this is already in the game or what's going on. But looks like Fall Guys.
It's a tough thing. I know a lot of people. The internet has a short attention span. So I was a little worried that Fall Guys was gonna, go down that way. But it seems it's still very popular. Apparently,
I don't know. The internet doesn't have a short attention span, Michael. But if you can get a core group of fans, then man, you could survive even if YouTube does start suppressing your YouTube videos because you refuse not to swear in them. Or make a game about jelly beans and then sell microtransaction costumes in it. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. By the way, can I just say, I really wish that the internet would fucking calm its tits all the way down about Resident Evil 8. I've had to mute a whole shitload of channels of just being like, I don't need you to be talking about this character that comes out 3/4 of the way through the game is the one that you should really know about. And I'm like, guys, fucking stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah, like the day it came out, like one of the recommended videos is like, do you want to know about every single boss fight in the game? I'm like, no, fuck you. It's been like 20 minutes.
By the way, I totally forgot to talk about it. Did you watch the Venom trailer?
I did watch the Venom trailer.
I liked Venom. I'm the one guy who liked the Venom movie.
I'm just annoyed by the fact that it's because I'm a giant Spider-Man nerd, and I actually like these characters.
Yeah.
But I like them in the context of Spider-Man stories.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've never been like the biggest fan usually of like when Venom fights Carnage outside of like when Spider-Man's not there. It's like, well, it's kind of neat, but there's something just weird about it kind of thing. Because even like the Donny Cates stuff, I really, really like all that stuff, but it still has a lot of context to the Spider-Man stuff in it. And I want to be excited about this because I like Carnage. Carnage is one of those like 90s characters that appeared, or I think he was like early 90s, who appeared that was just batshit insane, and I can't help but love to hate him kind of thing. And I'm glad people are excited because that's the cinematic debut of that character, but it still looks more like the first one, and I wasn't a big fan of that one.
I don't really have any like real love for Venom either way. So for me, I was just like, I think it was like right after I got my 4K TV, and I was like, I need a 4K movie. What's the movie came out this week? And it was like, Venom? Okay, let's do it. And I watched it on my 4K TV, and I was like, this is stupid. But it's watchable. Like, if you get drunk enough, you can watch Venom. It's fine.
Also, I still wish Venom had his symbol, because he doesn't have it at all.
The spider symbols? Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like half of fucking the Venom thing. Like, it's how you can tell the difference between him and Blob number 2 kind of thing.
Dude, you don't even know the final battle in the first Venom movie where it's like Black Venom is fighting Gray Venom, and I'm just like, what am I even looking at here? Who's winning this? And they're fighting at night on top of a metal girder, and I'm like, my brain can't tell anything from anything, you guys. Like, I just, oh my god, I can't see. And I think it was raining or something too, like, or the shaky cam or whatever. It was just like, guys, did you even want me to watch this? Should I just fast forward to find out who wins, or like?
That's really the issue with this. I feel with these movies is that like he keeps fighting things that just look like him, but there's no way to distinguish who he is because of it.
Yeah,
because he's missing the big old symbol. That big old symbol is how you know that blob is Venom.
Where's that Mobius, that Morbius movie or whatever?
They delayed it again.
What? Boo.
No, they delayed it to like 2022.
Okay. Just put some shit out. Yeah, where's No Time to Die? I'm fully vaccinated. I'll go watch a James Bond movie. Put that shit in the theater, man. Like, come on. You guys...
I forget when they're going to do that, but that's supposed to be this year.
Yeah.
Same with the Ghostbusters, but they pushed that thing back to November. It was supposed to be out already. Twice over.
You know what? I actually did see Mugen Train last week.
Really?
Yeah, which was really good and interesting. And I actually wanted to ask you about it because I feel like I've never seen... I'm sorry, people. We'll get back to the news in just a second. I feel like it was one of the few times that I've seen an anime where the movie was just like, okay, so season 3 ended, and then the movie was basically like the next 4 episodes of the next season, because it just picks up right where the first season leaves off is where Mugen Train starts. And I was thinking about asking about it because I know that that's not the case. Like, I haven't seen that many movies. I know the My Hero Academia movies are side stories. The Trigun movie, the Cowboy Bebop movie, those are all side stories. But like, do the Dragon Ball movies just come like after season 25? Then this is essentially like the beginning of season 26, and it has direct ramifications on what's happening in the ongoing series.
Not yes and no. So, for the first 13 movies aren't really like they don't really
13 movies. Sorry,
because they're side stories basically. They're just like, what if this happened, kind of thing. That's what the first 13 of them are, or at least. And these are the Dragon Ball Z movies. I'm not even talking about the original Dragon Ball movies that they made, which I think there's like 5 of those. But yeah, the first 13 are just like fan servicey kind of things. But then after the series ended, you had fucking Battle of Gods, which would then became the new continuity. And then you had Resurrection F, which was the new continuity. And then they made your actual Dragon Ball Super, which retold those 2 movies again. So like if somebody was ever like, oh, watch Dragon Ball Super, just watch those 2 movies and then start from where that leaves off, because they're the same goddamn thing. And then Dragon Ball Super Brawly is the rest of the continuation from the end of the current run. So, and then the next movie apparently is going to be the same thing. It's going to be the next chunk of of plot the same way. So it's kind of like it's like a yes or no thing. Like nowadays it is, but back in the day, yeah, those 13 movies had nothing to do with anything.
I think it's really smart, right? Because like Demon Slayer is really good, right? And then when you get to the end, you're like, I want to know what happens next. And it's like, well, then go to the theater and watch this movie. And it's like, well, no wonder it made a shitload of money, because it wasn't just like in between episode 3 and 4, this happened to this guy. It's like, no, this is literally the next part of the fucking, like, I don't even know if when they start up season 2, if they're going to end up at some point with like, oh, we chopped the movie into like 3 episodes, and then that like the Futurama movies, right? And then like those are the beginning of season 2 type of thing, because it was also really good. I watched it and I was like, wait a minute, this is like the dramatic climax at the end of the movie. And I was like, it's been 35 minutes. This is a 2-hour movie. Like, what the fuck, you guys?
There's one other series that I know did something like that, which was the Tiger and Bunny second movie. Not even the first movie, is the second movie. Because the first movie is one of those ones that you said where it's like, this takes place between 3 and 4 kind of thing,
right?
And that first movie was supposed to actually explain like why they're all like buddy at a certain point in that show. Whereas the second movie was like, yeah, the show's been over. This is the continuation from there, and they're going to make more of the show soon. So, we're excited about that.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of making more of stuff, we also had a trailer. This actually happened like really late last week for that damn mission for Shadow Warrior 3. And this is 1 minute and 54 seconds of just pure unadulterated Shadow Warrior madness. And I love it. I love it so much.
It's one of those exciting like things where it's like somebody remade something that was pretty much offensive as hell.
Yeah.
And then they made this really like wonderful fucking beloved little first person shooter.
Yep. There's a whole part in here where he takes out this weapon. I feel like we saw this before, where there's like some enemies that if you like execute them, then it like creates a weapon. And this one is the gore-seeking eye, which is basically like an eyeball with a shuriken on it that just flies around and lifts up enemies into the air, and just blood starts pouring out of them. Yeah, they should have sent a poet, man. Like, I can't explain what's going on in this video. It's just too much. It's too much.
It's pretty exciting, actually.
Yeah. I cannot wait.
And if you guys are interested, there's a Patreon playthrough of the first one.
Yeah,
with me and Jeff.
Whole thing. We got lost so many times.
We did. That game does not tell you where to go.
No, sir. Let's see. And then finally, we got a trailer. This is just a throwback trailer because Psychonauts is now on Xbox Game Pass as a way to get psyched up for Psychonauts 2, which will be coming at Game Pass at some point, since Double Fine is now part of the Microsoft family. So I never played.
One of those like cult classics that I never touched.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know. I heard from like this one podcast I listened to that the mechanics of it are really clunky and that it's kind of a slog. But then I've recently, I don't know. Recently, I had reason. I went back and listened to those guys talk about Nier, and I'm just like, okay, I don't understand. This game isn't as bad as you guys said it was. So maybe
a lot of it comes down to the story, from what I hear. And
yeah,
I actually did buy it for the PS4 because it was on sale for like $3 once.
Yeah, when they put out the VR game, right, the Rhombus of Ruin, they put that on there.
I heard good things, and people are very, very excited for the sequel because it's one of those cult classics that no one expected to get more of it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll just slot it in at some point on the dojo. Let's see. In other Game Pass news, the Dark Alliance, D&D Dark Alliance game is going to be on Xbox Game Pass at launch. So... boom, another one on the PC and the Xbox Cloud as well as the console. So if you've got an Xbox, boom, you get Dark Alliance. Even though I can't even tell if this game's going to be any good anymore because it doesn't seem to have a lot in common with Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. But let's see. As part of that Ubisoft earnings call, we found out that before April of 2022, which I believe is when the quarter ends, we're supposed to be getting Far Cry 6, Rainbow Six, the zombie one. I think they changed it to Parasite because it was quarantine before, and everybody was like, or pandemic or something, where they were like, we should change that name. Riders Republic, The Division Heartland, that Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, which I thought had been way the hell pushed back, and Roller Champions. Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, forgot about earlier champions.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone made fun of that Prince of Persia game. They're like, what is this? Like a 360 game?
Yep. That's the good news. The bad news, Michael, is that Skull and Bones is still on that schedule, but late 2022 is the current release date for Skull and Bones. Do we think Skull and Bones is ever going to come out? Is Skull and Bones ever going to come out?
I forgot it existed because they announced it ages ago, and they showed one thing of it, and then never heard about it ever again.
Yep. When was it announced? Let's see.
So according to this, 2017.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Remember, they were like, everybody's so hot on that Assassin's Creed boat combat. We're going to make a multiplayer boat combat game and then put it out.
Excited as hell.
Once everybody's not excited anymore.
It's like, fuck. Now it's going to become a pachinko machine.
Speaking of pachinko machines, Fatal Frame is back, and it's a pachinko machine.
God damn it!
You know what, Michael? I was looking at this trailer because obviously they had like a trailer and it looked really cool, and it was like, yeah, cool. I think I would be less offended if like I could actually get access to the Silent Hill, Metal Gear, fucking Fatal Frame pachinko machines to play them myself, right? Like,
yeah, here's the thing, because I remember that happens a lot. Like there was this like Fatal Fury announcement. Like everyone was real excited. Like they're going to continue the story of Fatal Fury, hopefully, and then it turned out to be this fucking pachinko machine.
Yep.
But the cutscenes are like really cool with these. Like when they make these pachinko machines, they make some really cool fucking cutscenes with these things.
Absolutely.
Like there's a Kamen Rider one that I saw that like had really cool cutscenes. The Fatal Fury one, there's a Castlevania one I think that has some pretty cool stuff. I think.
Is there a casino in Vegas where you can go that they just have all the video game pachinko machines so you can see the cutscenes that they put into the pachinko machines? Like I
don't think so, but there was a Ghostbusters, like not a pachinko machine, but I think it was like some sort of thing that was like only in like fucking casinos or some shit.
Yeah.
Like it's weird when they do stuff like that because you're like, I want to see those things, but you have no way of legally seeing any of these things.
Yeah. Well, another thing that we're not going to be able to see is somebody made this. Did you watch this? This fake. It's a fake Saturday morning cartoon like advertisement for a Lady Dimitrescu action figure. It's obviously like 3D printed, but they really just did the like, oh, she's got super claws. It's basically like these two grown ass men, and they're doing like an old 80s fucking toy commercial that's pretty fun. And then at the end, they're just like, no, she's my wife. You can't take her. And they start arguing and stuff. Yeah.
Crazy fucking like thing that have happened. Just this fucking, God, just this giant tall woman that the internet just decided was like everybody's wife. Like if I saw this on Amazon, I don't remember if I ever brought this up, is if you looked up Resident Evil Village on Amazon,
it's all porn.
The game wasn't the first thing that came up.
Yeah,
it was. It's just like just full porn kind of thing. It's just like one of the images is like her without any clothes on, and it's just like these squares where her private areas are, and you're like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, the internet really just took a liking to. But you know what? We do have more, because the modders have now gotten a hold of Resident Evil 8, and what they've done is magical. It's just magical. So the first thing that happened was that somebody made a mod, and this is like, you remember when we did that story about that guy who turned up all the sliders in Resident Evil. Like he turned up the facial expression sliders to the point where their faces started going like inside out. It's kind of like that because they all have like face mapping data. So at the very beginning of Resident Evil, there's a place where there's a little baby, and so somebody just took Chris Redfield's head and modded it onto where the baby's head is, and so little Chris Redfield is trying to fall asleep, and he's just like super sleepy, and he's closing his eyes, he's making goo goo gaga noises, and it's is really funny because you have to like walk around with this little baby Chris that's making baby noises. You have to put the baby Chris to sleep, and it's amazing. Little baby Chris Redfield.
This is the one thing I will always like envy PC gamers is this weird shit that you can make. Because, like, it's just like, fuck, man. Like, what the fuck?
It's amazing.
Like, somebody looked at that baby and was like, I bet you I could put Chris Redfield's head on that thing, and then just wait for it.
But then the other half of what happened was that they put let's see if I can find the right place. There's a point at the beginning. They took the baby's head and they put the baby's head on Chris Redfield. So now you've got Chris Redfield walking around with just a big baby head, and he's talking. It's got the lip sync and everything because it's all rigged up, like it's ready to move. So yeah, you've got baby with Chris Redfield's head and Chris Redfield with a baby head, and they're both amazing, and I love them so much. And
oh my god,
this is just amazing.
Ridiculous.
It's so great. It's just a giant baby head.
Hell. Have you seen the mom outfit that mod that they did for Lady Dimitrescu?
No,
or not mom, but they put Old Navy like clothes on her, kind of thing. So she just looks like somebody's mom, kind of thing.
Let's see if I can find it by searching Lady Dimitrescu Old Navy. No, mom clothes maybe. Mom
maybe. Like
clothes. Casual gives off big wine mom energy. Let's see.
Yeah, there it is.
She's got like a sweater and like
she looks like an Old Navy mom.
Some jeans, but she's still got the big Lady Dimitrescu hat. God, she's like the world's worst Karen, and she's just walking around. Yeah, I would be interested because you never see her legs in the game because she's got the big skirt on, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking
just fascinating what people do.
It is hilarious.
With these fucking things.
It is hilarious. Yep. So that's the news, and you know what? We got about 15 minutes left, so we got time.
Okay then. Yeah.
There's finally time. We finally have time. All right.
Time now.
Let's see. This is an interesting question. I don't know if you have thoughts about this. I don't really have that many, but Nick wrote in and said, nope, that's wrong too. Moving everything all around. There we go. Nick wrote in and said, hey, Jeff and Michael, just wanted to get your thoughts about Vinny, Alex, and Brad leaving Giant Bomb. No doubt this is, and there was a correction here, Red Ventures, cutting costs as they were purchased about 6 months ago. It reminded me of the dark day when Spilled shut down. Even though it gave us Rage Light and Double Toast, I still miss the good old days when everyone was in one spot. So wanted to send a friendly reminder for the listening audience to support the people you love before they're gone. You new Patreon member, Nick. Thank you, Nick, for being a patron. You're the best. But yeah, apparently Vinny Caravello, Alex Navarro, and Brad Shoemaker all left Giant Bomb.
Yeah, it was all announced like at once apparently. Because I was working and Hilario messaged me and he's like, yeah, so Giant Bomb is just like disbanding is what he said. So I thought like Giant Bomb itself was just like gone, but he was like, no. Like I looked it up. It's like, no, they're just like a giant chunk of them have left, kind of thing. Like Jeff Gerstmann's is still going to stay there, but like Giant Bomb was Jeff Gerstmann's baby, kind of thing. So it makes sense that he wouldn't leave, like, because he put out a statement where he's like, look, the next step of Giant Bomb is going to be like exciting, and it's a shame that my friends aren't going to be here for it. And yeah, it's possible. Like there's no like confirmation at the moment, but yeah, they got bought out, and then like 6 months later, this happens. Like odds are a bunch of stuff happened that they didn't agree with, and they decided to leave. That's most likely what happened, because I don't think it was so much like cost cutting that got them fired or something. I think they left on their own because they probably just didn't like where it was going, and it's a shame because fucking Brad and like all of those people, like they're huge in Giant Bomb, and now they're just fucking gone. Like that's crazy to me. And like you said, it kind of reminds me of like when Spill went down, but like that was a very, very, like that was very sudden as well. But that was that was very clearly not like your guys' choice. Where this, I feel like, is their choice.
You know what it reminds me of is like when just one day they were like, "Hey, we fired everybody from Cracked. Like we fired the entire video team from Cracked. That was like the only thing anybody watched at Cracked, and it was just like, what? Why? I don't understand.
Everyone was gone. Like,
yeah."
It was like, Crack. Oh my god! I remember I used to go to Cracked like every fucking day, and then they went downhill fast, and then they just fired everybody, and then it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
that's what this is. That's a great way of putting. Yeah, just like what the fuck? Like no one saw it coming in any shape or form because there was a lot of people that left to do other stuff before. Like Dan Riker left, and he's doing like this wrestling thing last I heard. Same with some of the other people. Abby was another person who left not that long ago because she got hired on for something else. Like a lot of people were leaving, when this happened, it was like this is like the core fucking like what people know of Giant Bomb, especially nowadays. Like because a lot of this. Like it's fascinating. Like, well, because something like this even happened.
The original 4 were Jeff and Vinny, Brad, and what's his name?
I forgot his name, but like he was very.
Oh my god, the guy
popular.
that died.
Yeah, the guy who died. That's the thing.
Oh no,
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It was Chris something.
It was in my brain just a second ago. I saw him at E3 one year. Let's see. No, I don't want to have to type that in.
I can't remember his name. Which is a shame because
Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is that I I'm sure that there are people. In fact, I'm 100% positive that there are people that feel the exact same way about like kind of the dynamic for what I'm about to say with the dynamic of Jason and I in the early days of Rage Select, right? But like I really thought that the dynamic between Ryan Davis's like super chipper upbeat personality and Jeff Gerstmann's kind of like pessimistic scowly kind of grumpy thing, like I thought that was like really really great dynamic, and like it's nobody's fault, right, what happened with Ryan, so I don't want to I'm gonna be like bad business decisions. No, I mean like it was a fucking tragedy, like and then after
it's not like Jeff Gerstmann shot him or something.
right and then like after that, to be honest, I mean like those were like Giant Bomb was one of the biggest things that inspired me to want to make a video game show. Like it was kind of what I wanted to model us after, because like the IGN stuff was too corporate, and like the just random YouTuber stuff was too random. Like I liked this kind of like semi-professional group that looks at like new stuff that comes out, not the like, well, whatever the popular thing is, we're just going to play that and we're going to play it all the way to the end and we're going to do that, right? That's why we only do like part 1, part 2, and not like we're going to play all the way to the end of every new game that comes out.
Yeah, we're very much like doing the Giant Bomb quick looks.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the Giant Bomb does, these quick like little, hey, this is the beginning of this thing. Do you like it? Go buy it kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what half of our videos are. Like we're still having fun with it, but the thing is like we're just as much telling you guys, hey, this is what this game looks like. Like if you think this is really cool, go ahead and go out and get it.
Yeah. So that was like the idea when I first started it up. The problem was, Michael, that I actually stopped listening to Giant Bomb probably around like 5 or 6 years ago, and the problem was because they were too fucking funny that I would do that thing where I internalized their jokes and then I would just repeat them, or we would play a game that I had watched them do a quick look on, and all I could think about was the fucking great jokes that they made, and I had to just I was going to get to a point where I was going to either start copying their jokes or not have anything to say because my brain was just getting log jammed. Like it used to be that I would wait until after we did the Rage Select podcast to listen to the Giant Bomb podcast, because I knew that if I listened to their new segment first, that I would just end up parroting. I was like, and I was listening to Giant Bomb, and what they said was blah, 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 blah. So
remember when I started doing it, that's kind of what I did for a bit. Where I was just like, I was listening to Giant Bomb, and they said so thing.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Like, I did that for a bit, and the only reason I stopped is because I stopped listening to Giant Bomb, because, like you said, I was parroting it, and 2, they were just so goddamn long.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Man, like I used 3-4 hours long, and I didn't have time like that anymore, because I I was working retail, so it was really easy back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I started doing this, I couldn't focus on it anymore.
Man, I used to absolutely love their E3 coverage. Like the way they did their E3 coverage every year, it was so great. It was like a
100%
party house. I used to every year I would listen to their Game of the Year discussions where they'd be like these fucking 8-hour like part 4 of our Game of the Year discussion podcast.
They were like brutal too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like Nick, I guess here's the thing is that like nothing, I don't feel that a lot of times like with the whole spill thing, I've taken a lot of pains over the years. I've been really, really, really focused in a lot of ways on making sure that Rage Select is like not beholden to anybody for anything, right? Like I don't want to take out like I don't want to take out a loan to expand or do any of that stuff. And in a lot of ways that's held us back, right? Like I don't want to hire people to like edit videos or do stuff like that. I mean, we did some of that. We did some kind of like volunteer stuff for the Dojo Minis for a little while and the people who edit the podcast and stuff like that. But I've always wanted to try to make sure that I wasn't beholden to a corporation just because this is what happens or stuff will change. And you have to be able to be flexible. And I think that's the reason, here's the thing. I couldn't be even when Jason and I record something, like Rage Select is 8 years old, right? Like I'm 43. Jason and I started this when I was 35. And Jason, I think, is at least a year or two older than I am. Like him and I are not going to be making the same fart jokes in our 40s that we were in our mid 30s because we've literally lived almost a decade of experience between then and now. So like things change and it sucks, but as somebody who's been on the other side of it, it's like, I don't know. I don't want to do the exact same thing forever. I'm just going to get sick of it. I'm just going to get sick of it and die. I mean, at this point, though, also, you think about it, like how many people have been on Rage Select over the years?
Quite a few.
I like it. I like the fact that people come on and then people go and, new people wander in and people are like, I'm fucking done. I've had enough of this shit. I've done, X number of videos in a row every week for fucking 5 years. And I just want to go eat a hamburger, eat shit, Jeff. And I'm just like, I get it. Nobody's actually ever told me to eat shit. It's just, there comes a time I have had to deal with a number of folks who are co-hosts on Rage Select come and be like, yeah, I just need some time to just do my own thing. And I'm just like, yeah, I fucking get it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I get it.
I get it. Yeah.
Fortunately, I guess, I mean, when you talk about this particular story, fortunately, Michael, the first person to leave Rage Select was Jason Murphy. So it's like, it's not like we've maintained continuity for 8 years and like 2021 is the year that Jason is leaving Rage Select. It was like, no, I made that motherfucker record like 4 days a week for like 8 months straight. The podcast and every single video you saw, including the Patreon videos. And then I was like, well, maybe Grant can come by for like 2 out of the 10 videos a week that we record. I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. And that was
shocking, yeah.
moving to Rage Select after like him and I recording. We used to record like these monster sessions like 3 days a week for the spill stuff. It's kind of amazing. So
well, I remember like what had happened. You're just like, yeah, we ran out of stuff to talk about.
Well, there was that too.
That's all you guys did was that. And it was just like, okay, yeah, no, that was bound to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
Like it would have worked better like now because you have a bunch more people kind of thing in between stuff. But like, yeah, back then it was just the two of you guys.
I try really hard these days, even though Michael is sometimes the one on the receiving end of this, but I try really hard to make it so that I only record with people like 1 day a week now, like 1 day a week, and usually not more than like a couple of hours, like 2-3 videos, maybe to podcast, or whatnot. But
it helps that I like talking to you and like because we were out not that long ago, and then we just started talking about nothing like right away. Kind of thing, and Ben, people know from one of us was just like, how the fuck do you guys do that? Like you brought up one thing and it like turned into this giant conversation. I don't know. I can do that really easy with him.
Well, I was also super drunk, and it was the first time I'd been out in public amongst people. So like, who knows? But
well, that's what makes it that much more shocking. The fact that I see you so often, and I still could do that with you. Like, it's just amazing.
yeah, that's what you do. Let's see. We got this one. This is an old one that came in from Vanish Knight, who says, "Hello, Jeff and Michael. On last week's podcast, you said something to the effect of asking whether CDPR was slowly morphing in to the likes of evil EA or Activision Blizzard. However, don't you think that EA or Activision Blizzard is more competent than CDPR? Sincerely, Vanish Knight."
Yeah, say what you will about the Empire, but they made 2 Death Stars on time.
You know, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I bought Cyberpunk 2077, but as somebody, Michael, who you specifically, I want to ask this question because I think that this is going to be an interesting and indicative representation. What was the last Activision Blizzard game you purchased with your own money?
Crash Bandicoot 4.
Okay. How about before that? Crash Team Racing?
Crash Team Racing. No, I didn't buy Crash Team Racing. You bought me Crash Team Racing.
Okay.
And before that, it was Crash Bandicoot's fucking other release.
Okay, so outside of Crash Bandicoot?
What was the last one I got?
Yeah.
It had to have been during the Spider-Man license. So
Overwatch? Did you buy Overwatch?
yes, I did buy Overwatch. That might have been the last. That might have been the last one.
Because I mean, like,
I could think of
nobody that I know is buying fucking Call of Duty. I mean, I buy it every year because I want to put it on the website that I run. But like, I don't buy Call of Duty for fun. I buy it and I play it. I'll play the single player campaign, but I don't play Warzone. I don't play any of that bullshit.
Well, that's the thing is they only come out with those games. Like those Crash Bandicoot games were, and the Spyro game was the first time they made anything that was not Call of Duty related in a while.
Did you see last week that they absorbed Toys for Bob into the Warzone team?
I did. I was so fucking I was heartbroken.
I feel so bad about that,
man. It sucks because it's like, man, you're finally letting people make other things, and then they're like, no, Call of Duty. It's
EA,
like, but no, you're going back over there. Need for Speed. That was the only other thing they've been doing.
Oh, this is EA. This is an Activision Blizzard, but EA is a little different because EA still they haven't gone fully into the stuff. Like It Takes Two was published by EA, and I really like It Takes Two. Star Wars Squadrons was EA, and I liked that. Like some of the stuff, all the sports stuff.
Well, that's the interesting thing about EA is EA is still willing to take chances on stuff.
Yeah,
and I think it's because they know they're already going to make a shit ton of money on all the sports stuff that they've done, as well as all of the Battlefield stuff. Like they have their cash cows.
Yeah,
that let them like make these other smaller things. The issue is that afterwards, sometimes they buy those studios to make the smaller things.
True,
and then they slowly die.
Yeah,
like that's really what EA's problem is that they're not. They love collecting things and then throwing it in a closet and then shutting it down.
You remember that Lost in Random? Do you remember this one?
I do remember that.
This little thing was pretty fun. Yeah, so EA's a little better. EA's just a weird company, though, right? Because, like, I don't think EA is fully evil. I just think EA is like a dinosaur that's so big that, like, the one side doesn't know what the other side is doing, and
it's like a Ghidorah head. There's like 3 different heads that are doing something specifically different. Kind of thing, like, but they're all still like, but people still see the same giant evil thing, kind of thing. But every now and then, one of them will do something kind of neat, and then, but then the other one's fucking saying, "Hey, we need to make people buy all these FIFA cards," kind of thing.
Right.
It's like they have these. That's the interesting thing about EA is that they are this weird company that's still willing to take chances. It's how we got hell, even the Mass Effect games were because they were willing to take chances.
True.
Kind of thing. Like they're very much saying Activision is a straight up evil corporation at this point because they don't make anything else besides just like a handful of things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Like they used to be known for being this very innovative. Like Activision, I remember when Activision was like everybody's favorite because they made, all these Spider-Man games and all the Tony Hawk games and like they made a lot of stuff. And then now when somebody says Activision, somebody spits like immediately.
Yeah. Okay, let's do some let's do one Discord question because we're already kind of over time. So we'll just do one Discord question. We got a response. Kate Josie had some problems with roommates a while back. It says, "Dear Jeff and Michael, I just moved out." Let's see. Wait. Actually, I think I might skip this one until next week. Let's go with. Let's go with this one from Persia King. Persia King says, "Dear Jeff and Michael, what is the greatest sin a movie can make for you, so much so that it can actually ruin the film at worst and be an annoying distraction at best? I can't stand it when a film tries to justify a character's existence by making them do only one thing that's integral to the plot, doubly so when their entire plot line could have been ripped out entirely, and that one particular thing could have been given to another character, and the plot itself wouldn't have otherwise changed in the slightest. To me, that just makes any time we spend on that character a complete waste of everyone's time. Have a great day." And that is from Persian King. So, what is the greatest sin a movie can make for you, so much so that it will ruin a movie?
So this is a fairly recent thing.
Mm.
It involves Star Wars.
Ooh.
Which is retconning interesting things.
Okay.
Because Last Jedi did so much cool stuff that could be like this interesting sort of it straight up had this great message of just like, you don't have to be special to be special kind of thing. Like, you didn't have to be like Rey didn't have to be the son or the daughter of like Obi-Wan Kenobi's whatever, or like another Skywalker or Solo or whatever. It's like, your parents were nobody. Like, but they're a special person, like, because they're, this great powerful Jedi. And then fucking Rise of Skywalker's like, psych, she's a Palpatine, and you're like, well, what the fuck? Like, that ruins the entire like interesting thing. And the rebellion was like and shattered, and like kind of shattered, as well as even the First Order was in this weird place. You could have done so many interesting things from there, and then they're just like, retcon everything, just like no one, like everybody's evil again or whatever. Or the other thing is setting up really cool stuff and then just never doing anything interesting with it. Like the Knights of Ren is a great example of that, where they're just like, Kylo Ren, because he's the Knights of Ren. The Knights of Ren are these really cool dudes, and then they show up and you're like, who are those guys? Like, they could have been taken out, like you mentioned, they could have been taken out of the entire fucking movie, and it would have affected very little. And just like, I hate like when continuity just is like thrown away because they don't know what to do with it. Like that, it bothers me, because it's just like, man, there's something really cool that you could do with this, or hey, that doesn't make any sense with this kind of thing, and or bringing a character back to life that like ruins the whole idea of sacrifice. That also bothers the shit out of me. And I know a lot of movies have done that a lot lately. Like the Fast and the Furious has been real bad about that kind of thing. So like, I get why that doesn't bother some people, because they're like, oh, they're your favorite characters back, and that's great kind of thing. It's like, yeah, but then you get lines that are like, somehow Palpatine is returned.
Or you mean we could bring Superman back to life? Just that was the whole point of the last movie, would sacrifice Superman, and now we can bring Superman back to life. Superman's back to life. That's the other thing that bothers me. Killing somebody off really, really early. Like I get I like the death of Superman, but you killed him in a second fucking movie. That's true.
And then you brought him back immediately afterwards. It's just like, what the fuck is the point of any of this? And that's, I don't know. Like I know DC is already like a clusterfuck as another example of like continuity not making a lot of sense. But yeah, Michael,
I figured it out. I finally figured it out. I figured out the thing. I fucking did it. I did it. Okay, so Batman versus Superman dies, right? In the Justice League, right? Jeff Snyder's Justice League. So do it all the same way, right? Like the thing goes out, and like Steppenwolf comes down and he takes the mother box. He's getting ready to gather the mother boxes together, right? But like, instead of bring Superman back to life, use your fucking 5-hour snooze desaturated bullshit and do Rise of the Supermen instead. And then when Steel and the Eradicator and like you can actually even have Cyborg Superman join up with Steppenwolf for like the final battle when it turns out, oh shit, he's evil. Maybe like your mid-range twist. Maybe like they're starting to get their shit together when they're down in that fight with Steppenwolf in like the sewers or whatever. And then Cyborg Superman turns on him and he's like, it's me, Hank Henshaw, fucking gonna get you. And then like, oh shit. And then like maybe Steel comes in and they're just like, who the fuck? And it's like the silhouette. And they're like, oh, is that Superman? And it's like, no, it's not. It's the Man of Steel. And then like, you know, the Eradicator and Superboy and Man of Steel, they could team up with what's left. And only by like resurrecting the power of Superman's legacy and the belief that we have in our heroes is the new Justice League able to take down the combination of Steppenwolf and Cyborg Superman and win the day. And then like that could make sense because then Cyborg Superman could help him find the mother boxes since he's a cyborg and like he hates Superman, and they could explore all their feelings about like Superman and just get Martian Manhunter the fuck out of there. Just get him out of there. Just get him all the way out of there. Fucking get him all the way out of there. Take all that shit with Martha Manhunter and Martha and all that bullshit. Just take it off and put Rise of the fucking Superman into Zack Snyder's Justice League, even desaturated and gray and all crappy and shitty like it is, right? Like you could have all the same things because you're already doing origin for Cyborg. Oh, Cyborg and Cyborg Superman going head to head in like a cyberspace thing. You could use all that bullshit where he finds the stock market where he sees the bear and the bull fighting each other and he goes in and puts all that money in that lady's bank account. That could be like his introduction to cyberspace. And then at the end, like him and Hank Henshaw, he stops him by using his superior mother box technology to shut down the fucking cyborg parts of Cyborg Superman. And then like, you know, Steel is going head to head with like maybe bring Desaad in there, like bring in some other people who are good, like Granny Goodness and Wonder Woman, and like bring some of the other guys in there, you know. And then at the end they finally all have to come together, and like at the beginning they don't trust each other, but then like the Superman spirit is infused throughout them, and like, you know, then it's a good movie you can watch. The Superboy and Flash could totally like be friends, and like maybe they go to the same high school or something like that, and like I would. And can you imagine Steel and Aquaman going back and forth with their quips and their barbs and their jabs and their shit, and like, you know, everybody could have a little bit more time to do some little character development and stuff. And then like then maybe Superman, or like, you know, between Steel and Cyborg, maybe there's like a whole they bring in like the Kingdom Come bat suit of armor, so that Batman's whole role in that movie isn't just crashing and then getting his ass kicked by parademons for 20 minutes.
It's true. Yeah.
Man, I'd watch that movie. Fuck, I'd watch that movie.
That movie sounds great.
I want to watch that movie. Man. Anyway.
Yeah, it turns out Persian King, there's a lot of things that annoy the shit out of me.
So the thing that annoys me about movies is when they're boring. I actually kind of like Zack Snyder's Garbage Fire because it's so fucking bad that I could talk about it for 100 years. But like Mortal Kombat was so bad that it was also boringly bad. It was just like the fights aren't any good. Like I would like this movie better if it was Mortal Kombat 1995 is not like is kind of a bad movie that's charming and delightful, and fucking Christopher Lambert, like, you know, like everybody in that movie is overacting their asses off, and I fucking love it. Whereas the new one, it's just like, oh, everybody's weird and emo about their dragon tattoos that give them. How do you fuck up Melina? How do you make Melina boring? Or God damn it,
they fuck up a lot of characters.
I'm gonna go into there.
I make Kano your best character.
I gotta go rewrite Justice League now. I gotta do that. Michael, tell the people where they can find you when you're not over here listening to me yammer on about Justice League for the 100th time.
You can find me on oneofus.net. I do movie reviews there as well as TV reviews. There's quite a few reviews that I did recently that came out on there, including Invincible.
There you go. Invincible is good too. This was good. Because then if you had the Rise of the Superman, then like, you know, eventually you could have another movie, and then eventually when Darkseid comes to Earth and nobody can beat him, then you could bring back Superman, and it would actually make fucking sense, Zack Snyder. That's it. I'm done. Patreon done. Oh no. Fucking done. I gotta go.